Fellas, how the fuck you doing tonight, man? It's been some time. Welcome back, man, to the greatest show on earth, the ThePPShow, man. So great to see you guys tonight. We got a whole bunch to unpack here at the show, man. The DD writers, man, big shout out to you guys. A lot of work they've been putting in, man. We have a lot to uncover here tonight. We have a special guest. GOATBEARDZDD is going to be joining us as well, covering some GameStop stuff. Obviously, Ryan Cohen's still going on this tour, man, this interview tour, and he's giving everyone an interview besides PP, man, so maybe one day we'll get that interview here at the show. Keep in mind, man, we got a whole lot to unpack. Yes, we've seen that some of these bonds pertaining to Bed Bath & Beyond are now linking to Fannie Mae. A lot of people are wondering what's going on here, right? Obviously, we know that Bill Pulte, big supporter here at the show, big supporter of the ThePPShow community in general, is director of, obviously FHFA, which is, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So some people are wondering if there is, in fact, a connection here, right? Bill Pulte did say, keep an eye on the bonds a long time ago. And now we're seeing that there's kind of some kind of correlation here, man. So I got to say it's very exciting. So welcome to the chat here. I see a lot of people out there on YouTube, a lot of people watching on X. We have a shitload of people watching on X here. So welcome everyone here in the chat. Yes, we can see all your messages, whether it's on X or YouTube. They all come in here so we can see them. So right now, let's get in the legality, man. We won't waste any more time here, man. We got some fan favorites here with us tonight as well, and we'll jump straight into it, man. So keep in mind, man, I am not a financial expert, nor am I a financial advisor, right? So please seek the avenues to do so. You're not going to find it here. A lot of this is opinion. A lot of this is speculation. A whole bunch, man, is entertainment, if you haven't guessed it already. We like getting together. We like talking about the stock, and that's really all there is to it, man. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind, any guests who come to the show, man, nobody here is a professional. So if you hear any opinions, speculation, TA, things like that, keep in mind, man, nobody here is a professional. We like getting together. We like talking about the stock. That's really all there is to it, man. So let's dive into it. I'm sure a lot of people out there are excited like I am. So why don't we dive into it tonight? Chat, why don't we give a warm welcome to none other than Travis the Stripper. What's going on, Travis? Great to see you here at the ThePPShow, my man.
PP, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Some exciting days ahead. What are your thoughts, man? It's been some time since we've checked in. Any new developments, man, happening that you see? Let's hear it.
Not developments that I see. I did get to shotgun a beer at GME headquarters parking lot.
I saw that. I saw that post. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that before we bring in some of our guests here that we have backstage. Let's hear it.
A lot of speculation about what was going on. I was there to review the shareholder list.
And how did that go?
No, it went great. There were 4 of us. We didn't post a lot of stuff public. I don't want to mention because a couple of the guys want to remain private and not. Yeah. But no, we got to review the shareholder list, review the warrant list. I got to. Cool thing was it was in Excel, so I got to use a little bit of my Excel skills to get some information that they weren't able to get on the first day. But we met them when they were finishing up their review, kind of went over some notes. I wrote down quite a bit of information and passed it back down to them. So hopefully we'll get a report soon on total numbers. I didn't total up what I had put together for everybody, but I still have my notes right.
So do you know if the DRS numbers have been going up or what since we last saw them? What are they recorded at right now?
They went down just a little bit, nothing material in nature. I mean, kind of your average. Hey, a few people sold here and there, but I did get to look up a few people in particular by name. Pulte's name was on there. And mostly I was looking at the warrants by country.
Wait, Bill is actually on there?
Maybe. I'll show you my notes sometime.
Yeah, I need to see that. Yeah.
No. he didn't have any registered, but
Gotcha.
I do have some notes on a lot of different individuals. I'm not going to mention names. Okay, of course, I already mentioned Pulte, but again, he has no shares registered. I was just kind of teasing a little bit, but it was a good time. We got to hang out, kind of talk with like-minded people about different theories, strategies. I did get to meet with RC's executive assistant. It was nice to put a face with a name finally, after I've emailed her several times, requesting those interviews. So,
Did you ask her in person why why Ryan's not coming on the show or what?
I did not. No, I kept it
Blew
pretty
your chance,
professional.
man.
Just wanted to, put a face with a name, introduce myself. It was kind of small talk more than anything. But it was a good time.
She said, "Oh, you're that guy."
Yeah, basically. But
Yeah.
but the lady with the legal who was in the room with me, she was a very good sport. Of course, she's kind of put up with a lot of people who have gone there over the years to check and review the shareholder list. So she's very familiar with them. I was just a new face. It was nice to get to know her. Very cool, polite, professional, and I mean they know why we're there. They think it's a little odd in a way that we're and this was my first time, but at the same time, it's a pretty cool experience.
Well, good stuff, man. Well, it's good to see you here tonight. Appreciate the update on the list there. And yeah, let's dive into it, man. There's a lot to unpack here. So why don't we go ahead and welcome Wally Buck? And we have a special guest here tonight, Goat Beards, man. So chat, give a warm welcome to these fine gentlemen. All right, what's going on? We got Wally Buck with us tonight. Mike Tess, how we doing, Wally?
Doing all right. Good to see you guys.
Right on.
A couple of weeks.
I know, exciting stuff. Looking good, Wally. I like the shirt. What's going on, Goat Beards?
Hey guys, thank you so much for inviting me to the show. Happy to be here.
Right on. Good stuff, man. Well, thanks for joining us here this evening, my man. We got a whole bunch to unpack. I figure we kind of, obviously, I know you have a lot of stuff maybe you want to cover. I don't know where you would like to start at. I can kind of pull up some of your posts here and we can kind of go through them. Let me know if you'd like to start there. We can hit it right on the bat.
Yeah, I mean, wherever you guys want to start. I was thinking, let's start a little bit with my background. I can introduce myself a little bit. And
yeah, let's hear
how
it.
I got invested into GME. But before I get started, I just want to make sure. Mike, okay? Sounds good?
Mike sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm on speaker, so just let me know anytime. I'll go on AirPods if I need to move to a headset or not.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I started investing in GME around August 2020. And this is, the pre-console cycle, so pre-PS5. And this is essentially just from looking at the stock chart and looking at how the console cycles affected the stock chart. And I realized, okay, everyone is going to move over to the PS5. It's going to be in limited supply because of the supply chain. Regardless of anything, it's going to sell like bonkers. Mm-hmm. It's a good investment, and the stock is up $4. So initially, that's when I first bought in. And that's how I got introduced into this whole GME saga, waiting for December 2020 to happen and reading up on who was involved in the stock. And that's when I think in 2020, I first read the post-Chewy article Ryan Cohen released in 2019. And I just knew that this guy was up to something. And I knew his behavior at the time was very strange when he invested in GameStop in those early stages. He was really quiet about it. And he invested a lot of money. And I remember the buzz at the time was, what is this kind? Everyone was looking at Ryan Cohen post Chewy as essentially a Wall Street prodigy. And they were looking, where is he going to invest? Is he going to invest, in blue chips? Is he going to take his money and what is he going to do with it? And he went quiet for some time. And, he chose to invest his money in GameStop. And now here we are all these years later, and it's become, one of the biggest sagas in stock market history.
But were you watching Roaring Kitty back then, or were you not really aware of him?
Such a great question. So I think back to this all the time, but I was not aware of Roaring Kitty until I think January 2021, but early January. I think late December too, when his post started hitting Reddit, but super, super popular when they started becoming viral. That's when I first caught on to Roaring Kitty, but I didn't know what he was. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what his involvement was at the time. But look at where we are now, and just another iconic figure in the saga.
Good stuff, man. Well, are you just in? Let me pull up this post here because I did want to cover this one of the show that you had written. It was actually a really well written post. Have you just been in GME, or did you end up following Ryan Cohen like a lot of us into Bed Bath?
So I've been here from the start, man. I've been here through the whole saga, the Reddit thread.
Go. We can't hear you so well.
Yeah,
anymore.
you sound muffled.
Oh, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, I've been here through the entire saga, right? So since, the GME expulsion from the subreddit, from Wall Street Bets, and then the Super Stonk, I remember the whole Bed Bath saga. I was in at the time, and still, I guess we're not in anymore, but technically we all are. But, I held to BBBYQ. I strongly and still strongly believe that Ryan Cohen was involved in that estate and that bankruptcy proceedings for a reason, was involved in the entity before it for a reason. And we can dive into it when we talk a little bit about the article, but yeah.
Sure. So you are invested in Bed Bath?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hell yeah, man. You're coming for the ride, right on. Yeah. It's been crazy, man. A lot of this stuff, but the connections are there, right? For the longest time we've, and some people have probably think that we're insane, deciphering some of these Teddy books and things like that. But the reality is, you jump from 3 years ago to today, a lot of this stuff is happening, right, in real time. And obviously the major piece is, yes, a lot of us, from whether it's GameStop, Bed Bath & Beyond, a lot of us have this thesis that, Ryan Cohen is going to utilize possibly our shell to launch Teddy, right? But none of us could foresee that he was going to make a move on eBay. I don't think anyone could kind of see that. I know that Fox and Flask, credit to Foxen out there, being one of the people who initially did say that there was going to be investment into, obviously eBay. And that's what happened. But jump 3 years ago, not one person was talking about this, right? And I don't think any of us could kind of foresee this. But again, it has been very interesting. Why don't we dive into one of your more popular articles here to walk through, unless there's something else that you want to cover here.
No, I think that article is a great starting point.
Okay.
I think that covers essentially, we will go through all the major points that we want to cover.
Yeah, this was a really well-written article. So why don't I go ahead and start here? So it says GameStop's not so big secret. It says 6 months earlier, GameStop's board had approved a compensation package for him worth $35 billion. If he had $100 billion market cap and $10 billion EBITDA, the morning of the podcast, GameStop announced Cohen had asked the board to withdraw the package before the July 7th shareholder vote and committed to releasing a detailed strategic and operational presentation of the combined GameStop eBay entity that same week. Keep in mind, while I'm reading this, if you need to stop me at any point in time, feel free to do so. If there's any major areas. That's what I said. EBITDA.
EBITDA. You know what it stands for, right?
Yes.
Pop quiz. What?
Of course I do.
PP,
Oh,
ever since Jake's
Do you want me to explain it for everybody else?
No, why don't you do it, Travis?
Sorry,
You're the
Wally.
accountant here.
Sorry, Wally. Go ahead. You first.
Nothing important. I was just gonna say, ever since Jake's recent videos, I've been looking forward to hearing PP say the word exculpated. So let's hear it, PP.
Exculpated
Parties. Let's do it.
Yeah. Exculpated. Is that how you say it? All right. So it goes on to say here, the morning of the podcast, GameStop announced that Cohen had asked the board to withdraw the package before the July 7th shareholder vote and committed to releasing a detailed strategic and operational presentation of the combined GameStop eBay entity that same week. The deck never dropped. The podcast did. Friedberg asked him a specific question. How do you kind of think about presenting how you're going to be more successful in operating this business than existing management? Do you have execution on that vision over the next several years, or are you much more of a responsive manager, a tactician, iterating almost in an agile way to the business success, which is a great question. Cohen answered with 3 areas, not 2, but 3. Pillar 1, pull $2 billion of cost out of the business. Pillar 2, live commerce built on the store network. The live commerce TAM is $400 billion. And eBay has the users, the brand, and critically GameStop's 1,600 U.S. stores, which he'd convert into studios, fulfillment nodes, logistics hubs, and authentication centers for creators and sellers. So not just cards, but eBay and eBay's entire catalog: sneakers, watches, electronics, cars, everything. And obviously, one of the main things that we had seen is that when we're kind of tracking what's going on with Teddy and some of these filings, we did see in February before this, before GameStop started to, GameStop started to buy and amass their position into eBay in February of this year. And then we saw an update regarding a Teddy filing, a new trademark regarding the entity within the following month, right? So obviously the two are tied here hand in hand, right? Especially when you look at some of these like trademarks, these filings that he's put out, they do cover a large list of items that they could sell, right? So it goes on to say here, neither pillar was new. Both had been in the eBay pitch since day one. Then he kept going. And then the third thing is, and this is something that I have not spoken about before publicly, Pillar 3, a marketplace for digital in-game items, skins, weapons, the things hundreds of millions of players accumulate inside AAA titles with no legitimate place to sell them. And mind you, way back in the day, I don't know how old some people are here, but way back in the day when it came to eBay, there was a time where you could sell like your World of Warcraft accounts on there. You could sell items on there. It was possible, right? It's not something that you really see today. It's not as big, it really wasn't even something that was major back in the day, but you've even seen people sell like their RuneScape accounts before on there too. It is possible, right? Because I've seen it before. So it goes on to say here, where was I? A marketplace for digital items, skins, weapons, for millions of players. Okay. Taking eBay and building a marketplace where you can provide liquidity for in-game digital items. It's what NFTs could have been. It's people thought they were, but ultimately they had no real utility. In-game items actually do. And he continued, the addressable market is significantly larger than the eBay's marketplace on physical items, and no one's doing it. And this should already exist. It's kind of like it's crazy that it doesn't exist. GME shareholders get lambasted daily for believing Cohen has a plan he isn't telling anyone about. He made a bid for eBay in May with a two-pillar synergy thesis. He spent the money, filed the paperwork, did the interviews, took the rejection, and then 2 months into the bid, weeks after being rejected, he unveiled a third pillar of the combined company he had never once mentioned publicly. GameStop filed the full transcript with the SEC as a Form 425. It is on federal record. Remember this interview, because everything that follows proves Ryan Cohen has been showing us this exact playbook for years in the open, launching something new. July 11, 2022. Sorry, does anyone want to? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Evie. Thank you so much for reading the intro. And I think for the rest of the article, instead of going through it word by word, I can summarize a lot of it. But I wanted to stress and just focus on those past couple sentences for a moment. A lot of GME shareholders get a lot of flack and have gotten a lot of flack over the years for being told that if you believe in Ryan Cohen and his secret plan, you're crazy. There's nothing weird going on here with Bed Bath & Beyond. There's nothing weird going on with GameStop. It's just a dying retailer. But if you look at the specifics of how he executes, because everyone always says, and he always says, like, he's a great executor, it's what he's known for, of how he executes, you can see that clearly he uses hiding items from us, right? He's hidden this third pillar. He hasn't revealed a digital letter to eBay at all. But the structural pillars for it were. So he, at the beginning of the bid, he allowed himself enough uncertainty about the bid details, which also the funding we're very uncertain of at this point. But also the synergy, the strategic plan he said he was going to detail in that presentation, he didn't reveal initially during the bid. As the bid unravels later on, right before the share authorization, and I think that was key, he starts to unveil a little bit about this third pillar, this digital marketplace. And when he said that on the All In podcast, I think a lot of people were shocked to hear that, but I think to many GME shareholders, it's familiar territory. And the question always comes up, how do you get AAA, how do you get AAA games and those publishers and the developers to buy into that, right? And I think you can see our answer is clearly in the bid itself. It's eBay. So, rewinding back to this, I think a couple of months before Ryan Cohen officially made the bid to eBay, I was wondering to myself, I was thinking, I've been in GME for so many years. I've been in Bed Bath & Beyond. How the hell can I not figure out what Ryan Cohen is going to make a bid for? And it infuriated me for months and weeks and weeks and weeks, and I couldn't believe it. People were making all these predictions, PayPal, and I was thinking, shouldn't it be obvious to us? And in the end, I still couldn't figure out it was eBay.
We should have known when he was selling the underwear on eBay, right?
And how clever of a hint is that in hindsight?
Yeah, it was right in your face. Yeah,
right in your face. So we know how he likes to operate too. He likes to make these jokes and taunt things right in your face. Or at least he's established that with eBay. He's established that with his tweets, and he's established that with the way he's gone after the other boards. But I think rewinding back to that, I think the best question to ask is not what Ryan Cohen is going to do or what he plans to do, because there's so much optionality structured into those plans as a feature of those plans that it's very difficult to guess from that way. But I think if we ask ourselves what has Ryan Cohen done in the past couple of years as the CEO of GameStop and since buying into GameStop, and what story does that tell us? What picture does that paint? So with that in mind, I wrote this article, and I thought to myself, under Ryan Cohen's tenure, GameStop has really only made 2 unique products. That being the NFT marketplace, number one. A lot of people forget that now, which I think is, I don't know if it's FUD. I'm going to say I definitely think it is. Honestly, I think that's how FUD is designed, to make you forget eventually. But the NFT marketplace was a novel product that GameStop launched during the height of the NFT craze. And then in this year, they officially launched Power Packs. But Power Packs was created, obviously, around a year ago. So when we look at those 2 products, what does it tell us? And then with all the information is given us within the eBay bid, what does it tell us? And then I realized, when we look back at what Ryan Cohen has done, the picture is actually super clear. Ryan Cohen invested into GameStop with ideas of a Berkshire Hathaway structure in mind. Now, I don't know if he was planning on using short volatility to his advantage, but now, in terms of, now it's 2026 and we know what's happened post 2021, we can all safely say, I think all of us here, it's irrefutable fact that Ryan Cohen did harvest the volatility off the short squeezes. He sold at elevated prices into high volume events to raise money and capital for the company. And here we are 5 years later with almost $10 billion in cash. Okay, so that's one fact aside, right? That satisfies one structure of the Berkshire Hathaway model, which is nulls and float, right? So he generated cash with this vehicle, right? With GameStop as the vehicle. He's generated the float. Somehow, some way, he's generated $10 billion of cash while turning the company around, right? That's an irrefutable fact. So the question is, where are the nulls? Now, one thing Ryan Cohen did before he was actually CEO of GameStop was use the volatility to raise money, right? They were filing the ATMs under his tenure. Yes, he wasn't the CEO of GameStop, right? But he didn't care to be the CEO of GameStop. I remember interviews at the time where he was saying, I don't want to be CEO because when I'm CEO, I work all the time and I'll give it my all. And I don't want to, and I have not other things to do. But at the time he was like, I don't want to, if I do that again, it's going to be a very it's all or nothing. And GameStop wasn't in that position yet when he did that interview. So then, post harvesting volatility, right? After those 2 ATMs in the summer of 2021, he files the trademarks for Teddy in August 2021. So what is Teddy? Let's say if he had the Berkshire Hathaway model in mind, he needs that holdings company, right? He needs that. Sure, he can turn GameStop into it, but structurally he's limited. And unfortunately, it has a negative stain. Even though Berkshire Hathaway was a small textiles company, it didn't have the negative stain that GameStop has to Wall Street and to financial media and, to the financial world in general. It doesn't have that, right? So he built this wrapper and then he goes after Bed Bath & Beyond.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
We're getting some issues here. Hold on. It sounds is the stream going in and out for everybody out there? I think we're having some issues here. Can anybody on the chat, because on the replays here, it sounds like it's going in and out.
It sounds fine on Restream.
On Restream in here, it sounds okay, but on the stream itself, it sounds fucked up. Xstream is okay. I keep getting kicked out. Sounds fine for me. No, it's good. No, it's good. That's weird. Okay, maybe it's working now. Okay,
Wait,
yeah, we were having some issues. It was going in and out whenever he was talking. Been okay on YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
I think we're good. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Go ahead, GOATBEARD. Sorry to cut you off there. Whenever I was getting some texts from some people saying the stream sounds fucked up, people were leaving, joining back in. I think it's good now. Take it away for us, Goat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I was saying, if you look at the actions of what Ryan Cohen has done, he used 2021 as a starting year to start building this conglomerate. He harvested volatility off the short squeezes in the summer of 2021, knowing that they swapped and rolled over, and knowing that in 3 years he would have the ability to issue the ATMs again and harvest volatility again. But within that 3-year gap, he needs to go and he needs to find some way to offset taxes for this huge conglomerate he's trying to build, right? So what does he do? He goes to Bed Bath & Beyond. And Bed Bath & Beyond is very significant for a couple of reasons. But I think the biggest thing that a lot of people like to dismiss, and I think this is an insane thing to dismiss, is Bed Bath & Beyond was wildly known as one of the meme stocks. None of Ryan Cohen's other investments were in meme stocks at all. He invested in one of the, or I think the second highest shorted stock on that. I think if we all remember that famous chart that went around during the events of 2021, Bed Bath & Beyond was the second highest shorted stock of all time during that extreme market volatility event.
Yes.
And that was based on the SEC report. They confirmed.
Like, I think that's so. It's insane to think that the CEO of the most shorted stock in history makes a public bid for the second most shorted stock in history and is not aware of the fact that because it is the most shorted stock in history, retail traders are not going to jump in en masse. And if you remember how he made the bid, he first entered in with those call options, and we all looked at the call option structure, and we said, he is signaling. And I'm sorry, for a CEO that's as aware as Ryan Cohen is, as well-tuned as he is to the memes, as witnessed by that interview that he posted with, I think, Toast now it is, or the guy who works for GameStop.
Yes, yeah, Toast.
But they review the memes for 30 minutes. So you can't act like Ryan Cohen is not understanding of, this situation. Right? And then the whole structure of the Bed Bath & Beyond situation is interesting. Let's not get to the bankruptcy yet, but in the bid letter, he makes all these bids and he asks for, a couple things. And then if you look at the course of those months as they unravel, he had the option at many points to buy Bye Bye Baby for a discount, IP, and go up going the business as a going concern, whatever, the whole business. He could have bought it with a nice bow, taken it out, and used it for himself, but he didn't. And at the end of the day, what he ended up doing ultimately, he planted 3 board members onto the board of Bed Bath & Beyond, removed himself, exculpated party, right? And then those 3 board members essentially take this other, let's say, call it a vehicle. Let's call the Bed Bath & Beyond company a vehicle. They take this other vehicle into bankruptcy with great care to preserve $3.5 billion in nulls, enough for a conglomerate. And on top of all of that, if you dismiss all the proceedings from the bankruptcy, on top of all of that, the fact that Ryan Cohen is the only person still being sued as a part of the ongoing litigations from the bankruptcy proceedings now is the biggest red flag. I think it's the biggest red flag to anyone who's witnessing the situation. So you have 2 things, and Ryan Cohen has really built his You know, if he means what he says and he's trying to build his Berkshire Hathaway, he has his float, right, in terms of shorts that are ultimately impossibly trapped and will always come due every time they swap, right? And he can harvest volatility off of them. But he can't harvest volatility off of them forever, because when he wants to let the lid off of this pot, he has to let the lid off into a huge structure, equivalent for the size of the short exposure, which is essentially the scale of what he's building, right? So this third pillar of him going after eBay, we're all looking at it and we're thinking, oh my God, why is he going after eBay? It's actually really, really important because it's the only thing that would fit. And he has unfortunately lied to us in recent interviews when saying that, or I think in the comp package when he said we didn't know what we're going after eBay initially. He knew. We know about the tweet from 2023 where he talks about the major retailer he went after. And in a recent interview, he mentions, yeah, that was the tweet. He talks about he had a tweet going after eBay, and he tweeted about it earlier. So he had eBay set in his sights from the beginning because it's the only other vehicle that would allow him to build a structure the size that's big enough to rival Berkshire Hathaway, but not only rival Berkshire Hathaway, but let the squeeze be squoze in a vehicle that's large enough to handle the capacity for it. And now, not only do we have the three, companies that he's used to, or these three structures that he used to build his conglomerate, we have the entire timeline, we have the entire sequencing, we have the strategic pillar, which he's given to us, which is essentially, and this article details it more at the end, but is the physical and digital marketplace, bar none.
Yeah. So let me read that section here where it kind of covers this, because it was, in my opinion, some very interesting stuff. The GCX stuff, I believe, is what it was.
Yeah,
It was,
GameStop Collectibles Exchange.
yeah, we can start here with the biggest
Yeah,
leak.
let's do it.
So it says here, the biggest leak. It says 7 months ago, a post went up on r/Superstonk and disappeared almost as fast. What survived is a trail of screenshots, an archive landing page, and a paper trail pointing to a capstone project out of a California university, a student engineer building something under a GameStop sponsored brief. A fair caveat, it says most capstone projects are throwaway. They exist so seniors can graduate, but sponsored capstones are a different animal. Companies sponsor capstones for two reasons. Either they want cheap prototyping on something they don't want on the internal roadmap yet, or they're running an extended interview, using the project as a live audition for a hire who will continue the work in-house. At my university, GM sponsored self-driving vehicle capstones. A government contractor sponsored remote-controlled tank capstones. No projects were really hypothetical. When a GameStop sponsored capstone shows up, the correct question is, what did the student is not what did the student build? It's what was the brief GameStop wrote. The student doesn't invent the spec, GameStop does. Now look at what this student built, and you have this little presentation here. I guess it appears to be some kind of like trading collectibles exchange. And it says, on the surface, it looks like a collectibles marketplace. It is not. Read it off of its own screens. And we do have it right here about GCX. It says the GameStop Collectors Exchange, GCX, revolutionizes trading card investing by enabling fractional ownership of the world's most valuable collections, is what it says. You have fractional ownership, secure storage, and you have real-time trading listed here as well. Fractional ownership, secure storage, real-time trading, and you have the portfolio dashboard here as well. It says a brokerage, not a checkout. The portfolio tab does not track cards you own. It tracks portfolio value, P&L, asset allocation, volatility, and Sharpe ratio. Sharpe ratio is a risk-adjusted return metric. Nobody applies Sharpe. I think I'm saying that right, to a Charizard binder. They apply it to a securities portfolio. Very interesting. Stock market hours, collectible market places don't have market hours, exchanges do. Custody assumed, all cards professionally graded, authenticated, and stored in climate control facilities. And the language nobody puts on a school project, which you have listed here, financial securities languages, located on here as well. Securities offered through licensed broker dealers. You also have SIPC and regulated FINRA, as mentioned here as well. So,
like a bank.
That would be a good point, right? Well, what are your thoughts, Goatbeards? Because we know that Teddy is registered as a bank, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so recapping this, I want to explain a little bit about how I found this GameStop collectibles exchange. I didn't dive into it too much in this article, and I know the Teddy part at the very end is a little bit like kind of hastily put together. I was working against that deadline that was self-imposed, but essentially a couple of months ago, I think this is around the time Power Packs was first launched, not officially launched, but first launched. There were leaks that came out of a capstone student done by a project out of Santa Monica, I think it was on the West Coast, and it was essentially GameStop sponsored. So a couple of GameStop corporate employees sponsored this capstone project, where they asked him to make the front end for this idea that they had. And when we look at the idea that he posted, because so there's this website called Figma where you can do web design and front end web design, and he has a whole shell on this Figma site. I found the Figma site. I can paste the link after the show. I think it's one of my replies, but it's not hard to find. You can just Google GameStop Collectibles Exchange Figma, and it'll come up, and you can see the entire site for yourself. And it's essentially a front end shell, and this is what he worked on. Now, what I think is really interesting about this is it kind of gives us the direction of Teddy, because we've all asked ourselves, like, what is Teddy since 2021, right? But what he has built, what this GameStop exchange screenshot shows, right? This kind of front end design for what is really, to me, to you, me, let's all call it what it is. It looks like a stock market exchange, right?
Yes.
To all of us.
Yep.
All of us. So based on this and what he's described on what the combined company of eBay and GameStop will be, imagine a company or any company. Let's say you go to a website and the website offers you not only you can buy physical and digital goods completely authenticated end to end. So collectibles are all integrated, everything is all integrated, but all of those things that are physical and digital that are high value can also be commoditized. And that's not exclusive to because what Ryan Cohen is saying, it's not exclusive to physical goods. It also extends to digital goods. And then the further extension is to securities, right? Backed by, in this case, essentially, it seems like Bitcoin. I'm not sure how they're going to go forward with this exchange, but it seems like the Bitcoin purchase, the 4,710 Bitcoin that they purchased, right, is essentially liquidity for this marketplace that they're building. So I think that what's going to happen is in the next couple of months, we're going to see, of course, what we're waiting for is that detailed synergy and presentation. I think they're waiting for some announcement, but we're going to see a restructure into Teddy. We're going to see a full Teddy announcement. And I think Teddy is going to absorb both eBay and GameStop, because he said something. He said some hints to this effect. He said GameStop and eBay are both going to be separate. He said he's putting $500 million of his own money into the transaction. Well, at that point, those two hints kind of, really, really take everything else off of the table other than him setting up a holding company. And he can put money of his own into that holding company. Sovereign wealth funds can come in. Outside equity can come in too. In this case, let's say it's Carl Icahn. Let's say it's
Sultan Al Madid.
Yeah, Sultan Al Madid. I think Sultan Al Madid is most likely the sovereign wealth fund.
Yes, I would agree.
We're going to see pool in there. And I think the sovereign wealth fund, to be honest, from what I've researched, is going to be a larger amount than that TD letter that we see. Usually, when TD writes these letters, the funding is going to be a lot smaller than that. So they said 20 bill. I would wager like less than 15 or less, and then the sovereign wealth fund takes more of that. But how that works is you have all these pieces that are submitting equity into the vehicle. Now you need to assign ownership to that, right? So, GameStop, and this is something that we've always, theorized about. And 741 is a big hint to it, I guess, in some way, how we'll figure it out eventually. But the way I see it playing out is Bed Bath & Beyond. We all get moved, not to the blockchain, essentially GameStop's exchange, and Teddy shares trade on there. And Bed Bath & Beyond holders, BBBYQ, I think they're going to go to the holder of claims, like those record books, where every single holder kind of held their shares into bankruptcy. And they're going to give them their digital token on the GameStop exchange, on the Teddy exchange. It's not going to be called Teddy. It's going to be maybe, I don't know what they're going to call it specifically, but it's going to be put on that exchange and it's going to trade. And GameStop is also going to be put there. And now imagine how that's going to work when short sellers have to go in and buy canceled equity they never closed out their short on an actual licensed digital marketplace. And then imagine the stock price of that after that vehicle is not only holding GameStop, but eBay as well, and the biggest cross marketplace in the entire world. And I think when we look at that framing and we look back at Ryan Cohen's wording of this entire situation, from the beginning of the year, from the butterfly image from Larry Chang to Ryan Cohen's Berkshire Hathaway comments to the Berkshire Hathaway, but very, very fast. And then, all the short selling theories. There's only one logical explanation. And to me, it's that.
And, the thing is, too, I think you had even mentioned it somewhere in this article about the Clarity Act. I know you have or maybe it's the Genius Act with stablecoins as well. Like, the main thing being Teddy is registered as a bank. It is possible that, the reason why we've been, delayed or waiting for so long could be, in fact, you could see a scenario here where Teddy itself could issue these types of stable coins, right? Obviously, the banks and, some of these lawmakers are butting heads, going back and forth on how they kind of want to do this, right? In terms of like people storing their money in stable coins and earning interest. Obviously the banks are pissed because they pay like 0.01%, while some of these, exchanges are paying like 6% a year. There's a lot of stuff obviously going on here, but I'll skip to this end game section that you have where you mentioned the Larry Chang butterfly kind of thing here. It says the end game isn't cards. Cards are the demo. It isn't collectibles. Collectibles are one vertical. It isn't even eBay's catalog. That's the beachhead audience. The rapper is Teddy, and the asset that ultimately gets democratized isn't a Charizard or a sneaker or a watch. It's DK Butterfly 1. The entity holding the net operating losses from the former Bed Bath & Beyond, owned today by a dispersed base of former creditors sitting on frozen and liquid claims with no secondary market. The two-year disposition freeze under 382 I-5 from the September 2023 plan effective date has now lapsed, which means a new ownership change no longer triggers the kill switch. So the creditors receive tokenized Teddy equity issued once at the moment Teddy absorbs the shell. And this is kind of what you were saying. And a liquid bankruptcy claim becomes a liquid, tradable digital security and issued on the same tokenized securities rails the SEC just built the framework for, settled through the same stablecoin infrastructure Genius just legalized, listed on the same broker-dealer exchange that started life as a card marketplace. And also keep in mind, I don't know if I have the post available here, but T0 exchange, there was actually an update today for it. I don't know if I have, it's somewhere in, I have so many tabs open right now. Oh, from Morph. I'll just share this real quick here since we're on the topic of this. Even Morph is posting this. This was a new update as of today for T0, right? And also you have that Taco Tuesday. I don't think people are following just how special this Taco Tuesday will be. And you have the tokenization coming. This was for today. In terms of what's going on, you have listed here at the DTCC. So obviously tokenization is something that's happening in real time right now, right? And we do know that, like you said, we have the history backed by what Ryan Cohen was kind of building behind the scenes and what we're seeing today. And, keep in mind, just in general about DK Butterfly, right? When we entered this bankruptcy, they had nearly, what was it, Travis? It was almost $6 billion worth of debt, if I recall. 5.8.
Oh, it was over 5. Yeah.
Oh, it was 5.8, maybe. We had an incredible amount of debt, right? And what we've seen for the last 2+ years, or actually 3 years since bankruptcy now, we have not seen a liquidation, right? We didn't see a Chapter 7. Right now, they're still restructuring. And what we've seen is a massive amount of that debt reduced from over 5.8 billion or somewhere over 5 billion down to about 1.3, 1.4, right? So obviously, I think it's 1.3. Yeah. So obviously there is something happening behind the scenes here where they're going to utilize this shell, I think personally, to launch Teddy. We also have, very big DD writers out here like Jake 2B, who's been following the third party release stuff. right? There's also a new thing that he had posted about Tamar Donegan. I think that's how you say her name. Where she actually worked on this HBC deal as well, right? So there's just a lot of questions up in the air and not a lot of answers, right? Because these guys are kind of working behind the scenes. But I do like it, kind of how this is kind of shaping up to be, whether that's some kind of exchange or they're going to operate as a bank or how we're going to get issued this equity or stablecoin, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, I do believe that Bed Bath & Beyond shareholders are going to be made more than whole, right? And whatever Cohen is building is something absolutely massive. You can even see in some of his interviews, I think it was with that Sorkin guy, where they ask him about Alibaba, right? And he never wants to talk about it. I mean, why would you not want to comment on Alibaba whatsoever? If you had a small position in it and, you're just kind of, an insider or an investor into that company, why would you not make a single comment on it? And that's why I think a lot of people are lacking in terms of what's going on behind the scenes and how big it's going to be. Because he never comments on his Alibaba position, right? So I don't know if you had any opinions on that, Goat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's so strange. He never talks about the Alibaba position, and I think that in general, it's strange that it's not talked about it more. I mean, like, let's talk about Alibaba for a second.
Sure.
I think most people are kind of confused to what Alibaba is, but it is essentially the Chinese marketplace. It's bigger than Amazon. We think of Amazon as, today you go on Amazon.com, you buy something, it's shipped to your house, and then maybe you go on Prime, but maybe you don't even think of Prime as an extension of Amazon. Alibaba is essentially Chinese people live, breathe, and die Alibaba. It's an entire integrated marketplace. So they offer social media, live commerce. They offer all these products whenever you want them. And so obviously, like, think of the Chinese version of Amazon on steroids. That's what Alibaba is. But then you also have to remember, because it's a huge part of China's market cap, the country's GDP, China has a huge stake in it. And China, unfortunately for, I don't know if, like, no offense to anyone, but it's a communist country, right? So the CCP is very, very strict with their crown jewel companies, and Alibaba is one of those crown jewel companies. So for an outside investor, a Canadian who lives in America, to go to Alibaba as a complete outsider and say, hey, take my advice. And meanwhile, during this entire period, let's not forget, the leader of Alibaba was abducted by the CCP, disappeared for years,
right,
and was brought back,
mm-hmm.
right? And the whole time, this Guaylo, as they would call it, is giving them advice, and they're taking it. And guess what? Alibaba is doing better than ever.
Mm-hmm.
His $1 billion or whatever he invested, it's an insane return as an investor, but as a human being, to another country, like, I think that's just an insane feat. I don't know. No one's talking about it.
And also, I want to add here, this is a great comment. This is what I was going to mention from Call Me Dragon. He says it's like a Chinese manufacturers to consumers and businesses. That's what it is. If you've been on Alibaba, you can go on there and order, like, let's say, for an example, like, I don't know, cables or like some controllers or anything like that. You could order like 500, 1,000, 3,000, right? So this is not just your typical, like, you go to Amazon, you're obviously buying a product, it's for a consumer, but it is kind of more geared towards like bulk in a sense, or even like, obviously some of these like larger types of corporations. And I wonder if that's going to tie hand in hand here, because obviously we've talked about, whatever Ryan Cohen is building is not only the next Berkshire Hathaway, but I firmly believe that it's also a major competitor to Amazon. You need that kind of inventory, right? So do the two pair hand in hand? It's very possible. I think this is a great comment here. You can order, you're going straight to the manufacturers at this point. And yes, there are some people who just sell casually on there too. There's again, you have a direct link to these large manufacturers that are manufacturing these parts and stuff like that you could order in an insane amount of bulk. I mean, I think upwards of like 5,000, 10,000 parts per unit. So just wanted to add that there. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but exactly. Like, I think the Alibaba thing is, so interesting in terms of the scale of what Ryan Cohen is trying to build, right? And authentication speaks so much more, right, to that. When you think of, like, let's say, like, something like IKEA. Like, let's say that you go into IKEA and you want to grab a product and you want to walk out, right? And you want to pay. But obviously you don't want to be hassled with lugging this whole thing into your, to your house. Authentication is not only, just for an individual product, right? It goes, we're talking about distribution. We're talking about mass production. We're talking about what Amazon does, logistics too. But obviously Ryan Cohen is saying we're not competing in logistics because Amazon has it, right? But authentication is a real moat, or that Amazon could never touch if Ryan Cohen does secure it here. And, I think adding on to that point about the 3-year gap, or the Genius Act and the Clarity Act, it's interesting that the timing on the DTCC allowing tokenization is interesting. July 15th, tomorrow, right? I think that's really interesting, because when you look at the timeline of when Ryan Cohen went after the eBay stuff, he made the tweet in 2023 to go after eBay.
Mm-hmm.
Bed Bath & Beyond was done. It almost seemed like he was ready to go after. We were all waiting at that time. Like, what's he going to go after? Is he going to go after another one and, somehow revive Bed Bath & Beyond through that other one, or something's going to happen? And he made that tweet, and we were all wondering. And lo and behold, nothing happened as the regulations changed and they became stricter, right? So I think that if the regulations didn't change, we would have seen a lot of things happen a lot sooner. And I think because of the regulations alone, he kind of held off. And now, 3 years later, we're here. And GameStop's a much, much better company, now because of it. And also, I think that he did kind of have to structure it until at least 2024 because of the 3-year swap. And I think I wanted to mention this too. A lot of people asking about my opinion about Roaring Kitty.
Yeah.
I want to be very clear. I fucking love Roaring Kitty. I would love it till the day I die. But I don't think that he's some insane genius. I do think he is, honestly. I think that he found the swap cycles and marked them to a T, because he is a genius and he knows exactly what he's doing, especially when it comes to GameStop. He knows it intimately more than we could ever know, because he's been here longer, right? And that experience alone, from time invested, means so much more than anything else could mean. So I think that he's very, very educated and smart on that. And I think that he, like all of us in 2024, were looking around like, what the fuck, Ryan? Like, take advantage. Like, do something. But I think that he just front ran it and he knew it. But I think Ryan Cohen's plan was much greater than what we all thought. And now it's unfolding. And even, like, look at this eBay bid. Like, what we're talking about, the scale of what we're talking about here. We're not talking about Tesla. We're not talking about Nvidia. We're not talking about the number 1 and number 2 companies in the world. We're not talking about the scale of those companies. We're talking about the giants of the world that run our world. We're talking about the Amazons. We're talking about the Berkshire Hathaways. In terms of price comparisons and in terms of structural comparisons of any company a CEO could be making, those two are the most ridiculous. So if the CEO of the historically most shorted stock in history is saying that I'm doing this, guys, hello, I'm planning on doing this, I have the money, I'm going to do it, don't worry. And the only guidance I'm going to give you guys is that I'm going to be like these two companies. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to put all my money into this company at the lowest price I can possibly get, because I know there's going to come a day where an event happens and it gets repriced to a fucking godly price that we cannot buy in anymore. Because that's exactly what happened with our parents during, I don't know if your parents were alive when Amazon mooned, but I'll never forget my dad said he had a buy order for $18, and the next day it hit 102.
That's insane. That's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to keep accumulating as much as possible, because when it hits, when it becomes Amazon and it's the leader for the next 30, 40 years, because it has a leader that understands how to run a conglomerate, like, what am I going to be worried about? A $20 share? So I'm going to be crying in 20 years.
Right. Well, good stuff, man. We have Alpha State here backstage. We're going to cover some of this stuff in terms of Fannie Mae and the bonds. Goats, it's been a pleasure having you here at the show. Is there anything that, or sorry, go ahead, Travis. Yeah, if you have some questions for Goats here and anything else that he wants to add as some closing thoughts, let's hear it, Travis.
Just real quick, Goats, I put a message backstage in the private chat. If you don't mind, like looking at it and maybe providing that information, because this is a great theory, and I want to dive further into it. Yeah, amazing stuff.
Absolutely, I would love to. I'll try to find some more because I think it's interesting. I honestly advise everyone to go searching for this stuff because I've noticed a lot of stuff has been wiped over the past couple of weeks and months. And, the Reddit thread was there originally, but then in my post, it shows deleted. So I'll send you the Figma link, Travis. There is a bunch of LinkedIn posts that I know that I saw one time, but I can't find them. But if someone can find them of the student, I know I don't like, privacy purposes, I don't want to do anything weird, but I mean,
put it backstage. I'll do it privately.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for having me, guys. I just want to give a big shout out to the squad. Thank you so much, Browntown, for believing in me and reminding me to buy Bed Bath & Beyond. And
right on.
Very, very grateful I'm here 6 years later.
Did Ryan Cohen retweet you, or am I crazy? Was that someone else?
No, it's probably, I don't know. Probably not Ryan Cohen, but maybe someone with the profile pic. If Ryan Cohen retweeted me, I'd shit my Those profile pic guys get me, man.
Maybe he will repost you, man. Who knows? Some people are seeing he's tuning in tonight.
Started the profile pic thing, didn't he?
I think he did. I think he did.
Baby.
I remember seeing that, yeah.
Good times.
I love that, honestly.
Yeah, but go come back anytime, man. Really,
please. I mean, this was a very thorough, very well written piece of DD here. I'll reshare it for everyone out there. Highly, highly advise you guys follow him here on X. And I'll go ahead and show you. It's GOATBEARDS with a Z. Give him a follow, man, and check out his stuff. And again, I do think that there is something bigger in the works here. And that's why I love a lot of these people who kind of are assimilated out in our community. You have so many people fixated and focused on different aspects, and it's all just pieces to this major puzzle that we're trying to put together here. So hats off to you, Goat. Good stuff here tonight. I'm glad you finally made your debut here at the PP Show. Any closing thoughts, my man, for the good people tuning in at home? We have a couple thousand people tuning in across all of our platforms here tonight. What do you have to say to them here tonight? I mean, what are some closing thoughts? Let's hear it, my man.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. I've been here for all these years, just like you have. And I want to remind everyone tonight, before I step off, 99.999999999% of retail GameStop holders do not even look into their accounts. Don't talk about it. They don't mention it. We are the vocal minority. And the FUD is a vocal minority within a vocal minority. So anytime you see anything that tells you, and it's just going to be designed to put you down and make you feel like you lost, just remember what your CEO has said. Remember the logic, and that's all you need to know. And just stay positive, guys. We'll get there.
Right on. All right. Well, you heard it from GOATBEARDS here tonight. Goat, enjoy the rest of the night. Chat, if you're out there on X, be sure to give him a follow and check out some of the DD. Excellent stuff here tonight. Goat, enjoy the rest of the night, my man. Appreciate having you here at the PP Show. All right. Take care, my man. All right. You heard it from... You heard it from GOATBEARDS, man, here tonight. Again, this DD is fantastic. And again, I don't see anyone else. And one of the things I really loved is the fact that nobody is talking about this GCX shit, right? Not one single person out there. GOATBEARDS is the only person out there who's actually made this connection here. So again, I gotta say, man, it's some good stuff, excellent, man. Well, let me go ahead and pull on Alpha State. We can take a look at some of these bonds pertaining to Fannie Mae. I do want to take a look at them here tonight. We got Hank E with the 5 PP Show gifted memberships. Appreciate your support, Hank E. Again, if you're one of those lucky members out there who got a membership, be sure to give a thanks in the chat. We also got Beyond Regarded with the 5. Travis sending private messages gets me harder than a diamond in an ice storm. Right on, man. Right on. Good
Who
stuff.
said that? I'll send him a private message.
That is beyond regarded. Goat absolutely blew my mind, man, with some of this stuff. And again, yes, we know that there's something happening behind the scenes when it comes to Teddy or some of these kind of entities that we've been kind of tracking here. But the thing is that eventually this will all be revealed, right? And everyone's kind of just sitting here, just kind of waiting for something to happen. And I think that one of the major pieces of this like puzzle is obviously the takeover of eBay, right? We need this kind of like renowned brand, right, to kind of launch whatever Cohen is trying to launch. And I think it is very key that Teddy is in fact registered as a bank out of Delaware, right? So I mean, again, this is kind of, in my opinion, what's going on. The Chop says, I think my tweets are being suppressed. I know I know PP. We actually have one of your posts, Chop. I don't think you are, because I see when you comment. I got one tonight that you're on the list here. Okay. Goat Beards is out. He's going to enjoy some dinner. He'll send us some stuff. Right on. Enjoy the rest of the night. Let's get Alpha State in here real quick. We're going to take a look at Cobal's post here. Chat, please give a warm welcome to Alpha State. All right, Alpha State, what's going on? Welcome to the PPShow, my man. How are we doing tonight?
Good. How are you guys?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Good to see you back here at the show. I'm just getting this stuff loaded up for us here. You wanted to talk a little bit about these bonds, right?
Yeah, I actually had a few posts that I wanted to kind of preface that. I didn't know if you plan on going through that or not, but I have a few kind of setup posts, and then if you wanted to go through that, it's up to you because it does connect.
Pertaining to the bonds, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Why don't we take a look at it? What do you want to share your screen there? Because you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, let me do that then, because I think it's going to be easier.
Yeah.
And, again, I don't want to hijack your show, dude. So let me know if it's getting, too long. I'll try not to make this as long as the other one because that was just way too much information. I think this will be pretty quick.
Sure. Let's hear it, man. Yeah, we're all ears here. We got Bill Pulte. Always good to see Pulte, man. Walk us through it. What are we looking at here?
So this is kind of my tinfoil theory, kind of to start it off, is I think DK Butterfly actually has nothing to do with Ryan Cohen. Is kind of a thesis I have here. I think they're actually separate. I think Teddy and DK Butterfly could be separate. Okay. And this is a thesis that I have.
Sure.
So people can totally disagree, and it's totally fine. It's just something that kind of is coming across a little bit. But I think they will work together. If you kind of think of that Keiretsu kind of formation, right? To some extent. I think the question that everyone has to really ask is, and this is what I do all the time, is like, why did BP show up? I think this is why I think it has more to do with BP than it does RC. But again, they're related. Now, if we look at this is pretty interesting. This is Kirill, and he's, just so people know, he's the CEO of RDIF, but really want to focus on his special envoy of the president of Russia for investment and economic cooperation. Mm-hmm. This is something a lot of people miss. Now, if we go back here, this is him standing in front of a joint mission with US and Russia going into space just today. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it got me thinking about this too, with Bill Pulte in front of SpaceX, right?
I like that. Yes. Right? Uh-huh.
And then it leads me also to this. So,
I always wondered why Bill Pulte had posted this, right? And we always were curious, who he's shaking hands with. Do you know where the photo originated from, who he's in fact shaking hands with?
For some reason, I haven't done a reverse image search on it. And it could be AI, possibly, but I should reverse it. I haven't. I don't know why I haven't.
Yeah, that might be worth looking into.
Yeah. I think it's PP. It looks like the suit you wore to the Atlanta event. Is it PP?
It's you.
I'm just giving you money, man. Shaking hands with the president of Russia.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know either. I mean, what do you think? Because I have a theory, which I'll get into, but what do you guys think? What do you think, PP?
About the photo?
Yeah, about this whole
I've always been confused by it. I never really understood it. Who he could be referencing, or where there'd be any kind of connection to Butterfly to Russia at all. I've always been curious. I have no answer to it.
I've got a couple quick thoughts.
Go ahead, Wally.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously Russia's at war with Ukraine and that whole thing, but really what the Russia-Ukraine war, to me at least, represents is it's is like kind of the neocons have really wanted to paint Russia as being the enemy ever since the Cold War, which ended. And Russia's, I don't know what they've ever done in my life. I don't understand why they're our enemy. But we've been subsidizing a lot of aspects of kind of Western and mainland European life for a long time with the NATO alliance and things of that nature. And this administration, I mean, whether anybody personally agrees with the actions of this administration or not, I mean, it's a pretty objective statement to say that this administration is very outwardly vocal against, just really against NATO and questioning the value that our alliances with Western and mainland Europe have to the United States. And really talking about issuing in a new way of doing things. Like there's, we've had NATO, there's, I don't know, there's a pre-existing international peace organization. I forget what it's called, but Trump just, he just recently created the Council of Peace, I think is called. Alpha, check me if I'm wrong. But there's a lot of things that are happening that just are that are just happening. There's no speculation. There's no and it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it because things happen whether you like it or not. Doesn't matter who's in charge. That's just the way reality rolls out. What's objectively happening is there's some sort of changing of the guard. There's some sort of shift in global power structure. And what I interpret it as is really a shift from globalism that's focused, centralized on central planning and America printing money and using that, and the value of the money is driven by foreign demand for energy with the petrodollar system and the ability to, because we're able to print money out of thin air, create value, fake value out of nothing. We're able to trade nothing as an export and exchange import commodity goods, which is why China's economy has blown up, because we have the privilege of being able to create paper money out of thin air and import commodities to facilitate a consumer lifestyle here in America. And in our generation, we're just realizing that system is not sustainable. And when I look at this picture, what I see is that Vladimir Putin doesn't necessarily need to be our friend, but he doesn't need to be our enemy either. And in a reorganized sort of geopolitical environment, when we sort of shift from globalism to more regions of power, there could be different theaters that all have their influence over different spheres in the world. Maybe we can be cautiously optimistic and have a profitable relationship with a better set of European powers in Eastern Europe, Russia, than we've had with mainland Europe the past, since in the kind of post World War II era. That's kind of what this picture says to me. Is it's Pulte posting the butterfly. The butterfly represents sort of emergence, transformation. That's what it represents outside of what everything the butterfly means to us, right? Butterfly means a lot more things to people that bought Bobby and held it into cancellation. But those are kind of my thoughts on seeing this picture. It sort of represents the ushering in of a new world order that is a little bit different than maybe what the Skull and Bones folks have been drawing up for the past however long.
Go ahead, Alvin.
Yeah, so just to kind of answer that. So this is from a Q post. I didn't intend to actually show these kind of posts, but just to answer that as well. And I think there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. We know from Q saying that there's a war going on behind the scenes that's not even public. So what we see in the public is really 20% of this ongoing battle between, you could say, the struggle of powers and, the war of the billionaires, things like that. So Q writes right here, what if China, Russia, and others are coordinating with POTUS, which would be Trump, to eliminate the New World Order, or the NWO? And I don't want to go down this whole post, but there's this that we've known for a while, which is back in 2017. So I think a lot of what we've been seeing in the news media is, and kind of just to summarize the whole Russia stance, is really it was kind of a scapegoat way for, and I'm not trying to be political here, but even WikiLeaks, Julian Assange came out and said that Hillary Clinton and the Democrats have a lot more to do with Russia than Trump ever does. And in fact, Trump tried to, I think, build an estate there in Russia, and it got turned down. So this is coming from Julian Assange himself. So what we know of the world order as we know it, a lot of that's crafted by the mainstream media. And so I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes that, we're just not privy to because of NDA classification, things like that. But if we're to kind of extend this and go with it, if we go back here, so I think I might have an explanation for this. So for moving forward, if we go here, so you guys remember this, right?
Yes.
So
any Bill Pulte post you got, PP knows every fucking one. And it could be fucking 5 years ago. I know exactly that one. Go ahead.
Nice. Yeah. So it's in kind of thinking what I'm going to touch on too in a second. I'm not really going to go down it, but just kind of think of the Trump accounts.
Okay.
And it's going to relate to this because remember, even SpaceX is donating to the Trump accounts. And I think they're even assigning equity or donating shares of SpaceX to these Trump accounts. And a lot of other companies are doing it. And it's in the range from millions to billions of dollars. So there's a lot of corporate money going into these new Trump accounts. Now, we don't know how it's going to be structured. I think the Gameshar Bathway thing is really the DK Butterfly, which is actually, I believe, more structured or towards the Sovereign Wealth Fund and Fannie and Freddie than I do think it has to do specifically with Ryan Cohen, even though I think it's going to be, one of these companies as well. Like it's going to be another conglomerate, what RC's building out of Teddy. I think it's going to be part of this bigger, I don't want to, I guess like holding company, but I'll explain something in a second about like this theoretical.
Sure.
So we already see right here, Windows, this is how September is going to feel. And we have all the butterflies. And then Dell says, as we just can't wait with the butterfly.
Okay. I don't remember the Dell response there either.
Yeah. It's kind of wild, right?
Wow. Okay.
So they're all talking about this stuff. And again, a lot of companies are donating to the Trump accounts. And I think it's going to be opening up eventually to the adults. And I think this is what's going to be tied to the Sovereign Wealth Fund and all this other stuff as well. Mm-hmm. So the butterflies attract then deal with the enemies. Thanks for the help to Microsoft, which is here, Dell, which is down here,
right.
Peterson, Elon, et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where I'm going with that.
It's interesting he mentioned Peterson as well, right? From
yeah, because remember, he wasn't really talking about him as much, I think, before that. Right?
Well, he had changed his background photo to a bunch of butterflies, if you guys remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to focus on this really quick. Like, how would it be kind of structured? Like, say the DK Butterfly is actually more towards the U.S. government than it is like an RC play. So right here it says, how could it work? High-level structure. Government takes control. So the FHFA, and we'll get into this kind of the post that you have up there
yes.
in a second.
Yeah.
Acquires a controlling stake in the company via equity transfer, nationalization-like mechanism, or buying distressed assets. BBYQ shell / remaining entity is restructured into a government-backed holding company subsidiary of the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Dual role as a holding company plus investment vehicle. It operates like a mini Berkshire Hathaway inside the Sovereign Wealth Fund, owning and operating businesses, whatever is left of the Bed Bath & Beyond assets, brands, or IP. I think Bed Bath is going to fold back into it after it's developed everything out, like what Marcus Lemona's been talking about. That's my theory. Mm-hmm. While using capital to invest in other companies. The Sovereign Wealth Fund injects fresh capital from federal assets, tariffs, and other sources into it. It can then acquire stakes in strategic U.S. companies. And again, housing is kind of the mainstay of the U.S. economy, right? It's kind of the American dream. And this is why I think I connect, Bill Pulte to this quite a bit. So housing-related, consumer tech, or distressed firms, similar to how the Sovereign Wealth Funds invest via subsidiaries. Governance and funding. The entity remains a for-profit corporation, but with government oversight. You have FHFA, Sovereign Wealth Fund appoints board members. Profits flow back to the Sovereign Wealth Fund for public benefit, debt reduction, and dividends. It could use leverage, issue debt, or partner with private capital while enjoying implicit government backing. So I think it just kind of extends out what Fannie and Freddie already are in a sense, and could be much larger.
And also, we've been seeing Sultan Al-Madid, right? He goes from posting Gameshire Bathaway to straight up posting Teddy, right?
Yep.
And I think he even mentioned Bed Bath & Beyond as well at one point, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I'm misremembering. We'll have to take a look at his profile. But obviously, this is something that is highly unusual, right?
Yeah, it's never been done before, right? This is kind of what they've been talking about.
Right.
So if you want, we can go. I don't know if you want to read through what you have. This is
let me just pull this one up real quick, and because I'm sure that's the same one you have there from Coble, and then I'll go to yours. So Coble had actually discovered, I'm sure Coble, I don't know if he was the first person to look. A lot of people are, writing up DD every day. I don't know who was the first to find it. I guess it was Colin Robin Aon. It says from Coble, the Bed Bath Q bonds renamed yesterday in DKB Fly also carry a new tag, which is complex. It is tied to the fact that the QSIP reappears. Is it tied to the fact that the QSIP reappears in government national mortgage notes? We found this in August of 2025. And we can see here we have complex labeled here for the Bed Bath Inc. DKB Fly. These are the 20, I think they're the 2044s, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, this is something else that we were talking about at the time. You have agency mortgage-backed securities here, Government National Mortgage Association listed at the top, and you actually have that bond QSIP number right here, which is for the BBBYQ bonds. Right? We do know that Bill Pulte had actually, or I'm sorry, I guess these are for the 34s. We do know that Bill Pulte had actually acquired these bonds, or the Pulte family that he had made a post about. And then if we go back here to Alpha's post, we have the FHFA American Mortgage Corp. Coble, the Bed Bath Q bonds renamed yesterday to DKB Fly, also carry a new tag, which is the complex. And you have it here. And Bill Pulte is one of the people who said, watch the bonds specifically. Go ahead, take it away from here, and I'll go ahead and flip back to your screen here for us.
Sure. Yeah. So, and then the picture here, it kind of always got me very interesting. And there's a few, I think there's going to be a few things. I did a stream on this stuff last night. There's a few interesting things that came up, like some pretty heavy tinfoil stuff. Now, Bill Pulte and Donald Trump both posted this exact picture. So I think it's something worth noting. And it says the Great American Mortgage Corporation. And then we have it on August 9th, 2025. That date will become relevant as we go along.
And also, if I can just add, whenever Bill had posted that, I had actually quote tweeted him and wrote, "Teddy makes Thanksgiving great again." And he liked it. So
nice.
I don't know if, again, just things that I'm paying attention to with what's going on here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like those are good indicators when he likes stuff, so, I mean, he likes some of my stuff. I never really say this stuff publicly, but I'll say he liked the Diet Coke stuff. So,
of course he did.
Yeah.
He loves Diet Coke.
It was really cool.
McDonald's Diet Coke.
And I mean, the tinfoil there is pretty crazy, right? So,
absolutely.
I think, and it might go to this whole DK, what we're kind of talking about here, right? Like Diet Coke, like Elon Musk has it, Ryan Peterson, David, the CTO of XRP, like they're all talking about, Coke, which is pretty interesting. So, so if we go here kind of just with this theory, again, like there's no way for us to know. I could run this through Grok and there's no way Grok's going to know. Because if this has never been done before, then there's no way we're going to know even.
There's no basis for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you don't have information.
Right.
So let's kind of go with this at the QSIP. There's Bed Bath & Beyond, and then you see DK Butterfly there, and then with obviously the Government National Mortgage Association with the QSIP number here, which is 075896.
Yes.
Right. Which is the same. It's very odd. Now, what's interesting, FTW responded underneath it and said, what I also found interesting is that IBKR populating it on July 11th, which would mean the instructions were sent to clearinghouse by the issuer a few days earlier. And based on standard corporate filings, the earliest date the request could have been made was July 7th, the same day HBC was officially dismissed. And we'll get back to this in a little bit here, if you are cool with me. I think I have like 3 more slides.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm just getting some tabs here ready because Pang had some good stuff and there's some Teddy book connections. There's also a couple other posts from Coble. But yeah, take it away.
Okay, cool.
I'll add them in as we go.
So we have the HBC officially dismissed. Now, this could be something else, what I have here. It might not even apply to what I'm talking about here, but I always thought about this. What happens if, and this is totally speculative and hypothetical, there happens to be funds that come through after all settled? And there's a lot going on at the table with the Clarity Act, everything that's kind of being pushed right now, which is very interesting. Now, if we go to October 2025, Yeah. Do you have some?
Wait, can we play that video right there at the bottom?
Yeah,
with
this
Bill?
one.
One below it.
Yeah, can
Bill.
I play this one first? And then this one?
Okay, all right. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure I love when Bill goes, whoa, 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 whoa. That's my favorite. Go ahead.
Yeah, because there's something they say in here which actually adds to this.
Sure.
So
yeah,
let's
hear it.
in order. All right, so let me zoom in a little bit here. So it's the second question, the follow-up question, but also they mentioned, remember, this is in 2025, so they're talking about this year that we're currently in, and also the World Cup comes up. I always forget his name. PBD talks about that, and just watch Bill's face when he mentions the World Cup, and also what Bill Pulte says after that.
Yeah.
All right. Someone's asking right now on the podcast. They're saying, Bill, can you tell us, is there any idea of when the IPO could potentially happen?
Could be as early as December, but it's more likely that it will be early next year into Q2. I think probably if I was a betting man, I'd probably say Q1, but it's totally up to the president.
I just say do it right before World Cup and right before 4th of July.
Look at his look. Look at it.
Because I want to see all it.
Look at it. Yeah.
I just say do it right before World Cup and right before 4th of July.
You know he knows.
Evil
he knows.
Oh, yeah. He knows what he's doing, man.
What lines right up with that timing is the Freddie Mac prospectus cross-linking from the DK butterfly
Exactly.
bond.
And we still don't have the IPO yet, right? So
Okay.
I'll let it play out here, but we'll watch that look again. But then pay attention to the follow-up question. And then it's going to tie into this video down here.
World Cup and right before 4th of July. Because I want to see all of these big deals being done before that, because if it is, I want 4th of July to be a magical celebration.
Next year is going to be amazing.
Oh, I can't wait for it. The parties, all that stuff. I'm sure you're going to be going to the UFC fight at the White House.
Sure. Yeah, he's excited about it. It's great. It's an exciting time to be in DC.
No question about it. Tom, you were going to say something.
Yeah, is the IPO going to be traditional in that there'll be an S1, retail investors and people can go see it at sec.gov, or will there be a different kind of process because these are kind of government associated?
No, it'll be traditional. I think the president is entertaining a variety of options. He'll ultimately decide, but I think it'll be about 5% of the stock of both companies, and about $25–30 billion in capital potentially would be raised. So I think it will be a very, very hot, oversubscribed IPO.
It'd be a very hot, oversubscribed IPO with the $20–30 billion offering initially, right? So now listen to this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so platinum and vinegar, just let's have some fun for a second.
Sure.
What if there was a massive payout? What would both of you
I
guys
would be
do?
buying shares the same day.
No. That shit's already sailed. I'm saying, what if the shares went parabolic? What if they went back and they got traded again and there was a huge payday? I'm just curious.
I'd buy the same day.
Like Vinegar, you said that if you walked outside and saw $1 million. So it's like, what would you do if, you saw a bunch of millionaires?
Okay, in your completely hypothetical situation, I would compare it mostly to regretting not buying Bitcoin, 12 years ago when it was like, pennies, right? But again, we can just talk about hypotheticals all day long. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Because then I would regret.
Now you're going to turn into a targeted GME meltdown. Are you now, and I know you're not, are you now comparing these so-called canceled BBBY shares to Bitcoin in the early innings? Whoa, Vinegar.
Oh, listen, if that makes you feel better, then you can.
Vinegar, oh my God. Oh
my
God, Vinegar.
That's a good one.
I love
That's
that
a good
clip.
connection. Yeah.
Right. So I have another connection for that, but I want to get through this because it all connects.
And Baba Benny out in the chat says that ship is sailed. I think that's a very key thing that he said too, right? Platinum Sparkle says, if there's suddenly equity, I'm going to be buying. He says, whoa, that ship has already sailed, right? So it leads you to believe it's like, I feel like it's going to open at such an astronomical price that it's like most people won't even be able to afford, right? Being able to buy like one share of this, right? But go ahead, Alf.
Yeah, I mean, if this theory is true, right? Again, who knows if this is going to be true, but this is something I've been kind of going with because I feel like even the GameStop stuff, all that stuff could even be a Kansas City shuffle. Like it's a massive kind of think about it. Everyone's focused on Ryan Cohen and GameStop and eBay, but this whole thing, this could even be bigger. And I think Teddy will tie into this for sure. And this is just my theory, so people can totally disagree with it. But I think it gets a lot bigger. Now, if we go here, this is Ryan Cohen. I've been using these wrong the whole time. Where do I insert them? And of course, we got the Q nod, but Q tips. And if we read this is relating to, and you guys know this because it came up before in the past about the Q-tip trust. So a qualified terminable interest property trust is a specific estate planning tool under U.S. tax law. Q-tip trust connection, the recovery payout could be funneled through or structured as a Q-tip style trust. Recovered assets or settled funds from market makers go into the trust. Former shareholders as beneficiaries receive ongoing income distributions, possibly tied to bond coupons, investment returns from MBS pool, or structured payments. The terminable interest allows control, tax advantage, and protection from immediate claims or liquidation. So kind of think of always like maybe DK Butterfly could be it, right? With respect to the government. Right. This fits a complex theme. Layering trust, securitized bonds, mortgage-backed securities create an ongoing layered payment mechanism rather than a simple lump sum. It could also help resolve the fraud indirectly via financial engineering. So if we go back, so maybe that's a nod to, I don't know. I'm kind of guessing, right? But maybe this could be a nod to that. And if we go here again, like there's a reason why BP is both FHFA director and acting DNI. I think there are foreign influences, not just in the elections, but also in the financial markets. And remember, Trump has I was going to say a speech, but kind of like a speech announcement on Thursday that very well is going to be talking about the elections. At least I don't think it's formal yet, but this is what people are suspecting. And of course, Bill Pulte is going to be there. So this is, if we're talking about fraud in the markets, think about this too, the question that I don't think a lot of people really consider. Can you guys at least maybe consider this for a minute, that Bill Pulte and Ryan Cohen had a relationship before Bill Pulte even joined Bed Bath & Beyond, the community with UPP?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
So do you guys think that it's possible that Bill Pulte and Ryan Cohen had a longer relationship than what we believe?
Absolutely.
I mean, anything is possible.
Is
right?
it possible? Yeah. Well, yes. If the question is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. Anything's possible.
They shared the same exact lawyer, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep. All in Florida, where we talked about before. So, and so what I'm getting at is kind of what we were talking about the previous stream is I think there's a lot of things going on. Remember, Bill Pulte was with like even Kanye West and Mr. Beast, and he's kind of going around with all these places, and there's all these companies donating money to basically the Trump accounts, right? We can even equate that to the sovereign wealth fund, all that, basically donating a ton of money to the U.S. government. Now, and Pulte's serving even one of the highest positions in our government currently, along with working as FHFA director at the same time. So this is why I think this has more to do, not specifically with BP, but I think there's way more of a connection here than to Teddy and RC, even though I think they will connect under this umbrella of the sovereign wealth fund, the Trump accounts, however they call it. It can even be called, Game Share Pathway. I don't think it will, but something.
And
great name.
Do you mind if I add also too, back to what you were saying about that complex, what was that? Yeah, that complex language. That's exactly what the bonds are saying that they are. They have they're marked as like the complex. So I just wanted to point that out as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What we're seeing, I think it was here.
Yeah.
No, this one right here.
That one, yeah.
Yes, there it is right there. See how it now is saying complex on there.
Yeah. So this is going to be kind of interesting. I'm going to move forward a little bit. I think there's two more things I want to show you guys, and that's it. I don't.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, this has been. I mean, this is what we were going to cover to begin with. Obviously this connection to Fannie Mae and why these bonds are kind of showing this too. But yeah, please carry on.
All right. So if we move forward here, this is pretty interesting. And there's going to be some tinfoil in a future post I have in front after this one. There's actually some tinfoil connections, which is pretty interesting. And remember, we're talking about, I think August 9th. I gotta remember when it came. Anyways, there is something here. I'll have to remember, just think of August 9th. When you see this date come up, this is what it's connecting to. I think if it's in here. So here's from FTW, reverse engineer that 322 billion number by 665 million shares. And this goes to BBYQ.
Great DD writer, by the way.
Yeah, really good. And I think I'm too dumb to summarize all this stuff. But I just kind of wanted to go from a tinfoil angle. I don't know if any of you guys understand this in terms of want to summarize it.
I can read it if you don't mind pulling it up there. And if any of the fellows have a opinion on it. So is this where it starts where's the...
This is the top, and I think it goes a few, not too many down here. I think
that one right there with the chart on it. Yeah, a little,
right
there. Yeah, right there. It says the thrift savings fund can be used, and so can any of the other special issue treasury programs. It's a non-marketable special issue security pool, meaning it can warehouse massive value off market, immune to exchange settlement friction, then reallocate internally without touching the DTC. If Bed Bath & Beyond distributions are being mirrored through a synthetic trust, they wouldn't show under typical public plan categories. They'd be embedded in this settlement mechanism. Before July 1st, issued and redeemed were modest and variable small daily swings. July 1st, it says Amazon 220 forward trigger starts the 30-day window. Structural change begins. After July 1st, both issued and redeemed spike in lockstep. This is settlement churn, large match inflow / outflows, staging and clearing value in preparation for the lock event. The constant high volume red / green pairing post trigger equals trust pool being filled and flushed daily while the net stays locked. If you wanted to stage a distribution waterfall without touching the DTC, this is the kind of account you'd park it in. The entire trust is pegged at $322 billion. And that's where I got the number. That is just absolutely massive, man.
Huge,
Holy
right?
shit.
And I mean, kind of consider, right, if maybe the DK butterfly is actually related to a lot of this stuff with respect to the government, possibly this holding company within the sovereign wealth fund. Right. And there's billions of dollars going into it. So, and you obviously want to protect it, especially, and I'm sure there's audits and all that. If the government is involved, I'm sure there's a lot of audits. Mm-hmm. So if we go back here, this is really interesting because remember this number comes up. So reverse engineer that 322 billion, which is what BBYQ was talking about. Yeah. Number by 665. Remember 665 was what Ryan Cohen tweeted Trump's name 665 times.
Correct.
Remember that?
Yes.
And these add to 17. 6 + 6 + 5 = 17. 322 billion sitting in a trust that appeared out of nowhere that BBYQ found. 665 million shares that came after the HBC deal. Remember, there was only ever supposed to be 117 million. Mm-hmm. So what 322 billion divided by 665 million?
Travis, what's the number? Let's hear it.
Here, do it. Maybe he's away.
One more time. No, I'm eating. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. 322.56 billion divided by 665 million. What do we get?
Kelly Clarkson.
All right, you're fired.
Somebody check me. Chat, check me. 500.
Okay.
485.
485. And where does the 485 connect to, Alpha?
Okay, so now there's two things. Add the digits. What's 484 + 8 + 5? 17.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, if we go here, if you look in the Teddy books, if we add all these,
it's
it comes out to 485.
Yep. Right? And then hold on, get this. On the shelf, in the book, there's the shelf that says cash, right? And the teddy bear is like choking the chicken, and it's $15, right? Which equates to the $500, which equates to the $500 signal Pulte sold for the tickets for the show.
Mm-hmm. And if you subtract it, it's 485 from the 500, 15 minus, 500 minus 15, 485.
Yes. Yeah.
So, all right. So this is pretty interesting. Now, if we go, where do I have it here? Okay. So now it's going to come back to that in a second. Let's see if I have it here.
Real quick, I have a tip here for emotional damage with the 5. I know Wally is talking, but I can never pay attention to him because he looks like an idiot, is what emotional damage says. We also got another $5 tip here from Danker with the 5. Appreciate the love. RC took the shares away to protect us from selling like TLP, in my honest opinion. Interesting. Yeah, go ahead, Alpha.
So I'll end on this one. And there's an interesting tinfoil connection too at the bottom that we'll get to. Someone commented. So the light can at any time go from green to red without pausing yellow. And you guys heard that before. Now we'll get to this in a second.
Yes.
right?
Yeah, Ryan Cohen said that on an interview.
And you know what? I've been meaning to pull something up.
Man,
Actually,
you
it's
got
probably
some
what you're
good
gonna
stuff here tonight.
It's what you were. I was going to talk about your "If" poem and how Brian Armstrong posted that a couple hours later.
Is that not fucking crazy?
It's crazy, right? So I was going to show that, but if you want to show that, I could.
No. You are flowing very this is amazing stuff tonight. Please stay as long as you'd like and take your time with this stuff because this is like really, really good stuff, man.
Okay, so let me locate it. I'm scrolling on the other browser, so I can.
If you're looking for your post, I have it readily available. If you're trying to show side by side comparison,
yeah, let's do that because I don't want to scroll and waste time.
Yeah,
and then I'll come back to this.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and share it here. I got it right here. All right, hold on. All right, so here we have it, or actually it has both those posts there right there.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, we'll go from that top one to the bottom if you want after that, and then we'll come back to the other one here.
Okay, yeah. So Alpha posts here. It's pretty wild that Brian Armstrong, which is the CEO of Coinbase, posted the poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling several hours after PP did. You can see it here. I had posted it that morning. And sure enough, I mean, it's crazy to me too, man. You know, I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on here, man. You know?
All these signals, man.
It's fucking crazy shit, man. And also, Coinbase listed PP Coin too, which is funny.
Can I jump in on that real quick, PP?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is obviously just crazy, but let's think about the characters involved for a second.
Sure.
You have Brian Armstrong, and I want to introduce Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, who obviously, you know, if we're behind and I'm really grateful for, you know, a lot of the DD that everyone's doing. I've listened probably the most to Jake, but you know, I'm now persuaded that Ryan Cohen was behind HBC, and one of the things that Ryan Cohen was able to do with HBC was really point out that there was fraud and, you know, malfeasance between JP Morgan and Bed Bath and Beyond, and that there was a sealed settlement. We don't know how much, but that JP Morgan's on the hook, and so some of that money that's sitting in the account that we're going to get when all of this concludes is coming from JP Morgan. So what's really interesting with Brian Armstrong basically reposting your tweet, PP, is that, you know, there's this old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if anyone saw about a month ago, obviously Brian Armstrong is a huge proponent behind the Clarity Act, which is about, and the big thing that the banks are pushing against with the Clarity Act,
yes,
is the ability for stable coins to pay interest to people that hold stable coins. So this was being talked about a month ago on daytime mainstream financial television. JP Morgan is on the tube, and someone is asking him about his thoughts on the Clarity Act and Brian Armstrong's influence in shaping the policy in the Clarity Act. And Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, completely loses his composure on national television and starts cursing Brian Armstrong's name on TV. And the host was like,
when was this?
This was about a month ago. You remember that?
Yeah, I don't know the time frame, but yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so it was I mean, and the host who was interviewing Jamie Dimon was just like this is weird, and that's a very strange position to be in. Like, you're the CEO of the largest bank in the world, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like largest publicly traded bank in the world. I mean, JP Morgan is, and so Brian Armstrong's clearly under his skin,
right,
and may have some leverage. Like, you've got to be in a pretty special position of power to have some.
Sorry, go ahead. Travis wants to say something.
Yeah, I heard Jamie Dimon's name. I just had an opinion about him.
Go for it.
And this is just in my opinion. Fuck that guy.
Well, yeah. So that goes back to the enemy of my enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So
yeah,
Brian Armstrong seems to have some leverage over Jamie Dimon, enough so for him to lose his composure on national television. So Brian Armstrong, you know, he's clearly an enemy of JP Dimon, at least, or Jamie Dimon. At least Jamie Dimon thinks so. And Jamie Dimon is writing checks. JP Morgan's writing checks into the settlement fund that ultimately we're going to get. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's really interesting to see. Now, last night, I'm scrolling X before going to bed and absolutely losing my shit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Copying and pasting PP's tweet and broadcasting it out to the world. So.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Emotional damage with the 20. Wally looks like an Oreo today. Right on, man. Yeah, I gotta say, could it be tied to the tokenization? Possibly, right? Could it be tied to everything that's happening here? It's a strong possibility, right? And kind of to build off of what Wally's going, I'll go back to Alpha, is, these banks, Jamie Dimon kind of acting this way is because these banks, the moment they pass this Clarity Act and everybody takes all their money out of their savings and puts them on, these like DeFi kind of like networks or whatever it may be, it doesn't even have to be an exchange, right? Because there's the fear of like, oh, an exchange fails, you're going to lose your money, whatever. You could utilize them in like these DeFi type of contracts, right? And you could earn way more than you would keeping your money in a bank. And that's why these guys are losing their minds, because the only reason you see, if you've ever driven down the street and you see fucking 20 fucking banks within a 5-mile radius, it's because they're all making their money off of lending your money out. They're making these large interest types of payments off your money, and you're getting jack shit, right? So obviously this is something that banks are going to fight on, tooth and nail for a while. But yeah, go ahead, Alpha. Sorry to get sidetracked.
Well, and sorry, Alpha, keep in mind, I was going to say, and that's the whole fractional deposit banking. I mean, you give them $10,000. It used to be they had to hold that on hand. Now it's 0%. You give them $10,000,
such a money printer.
It's out their window, and they're lending it to somebody else, and it's just fractional share banking. I mean, there's nothing there. So you take the money away from them, all of a sudden what they lend, they got to recall. It creates a headache for them. I can see why Jamie Dimon's a little upset and possibly scared of this. It's palpable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go ahead, Alpha.
Yeah. So, and then I wanted to go.
Sorry. Do you want me to share your post, or do you want me to
you could go down below to that one that's it's reposted above. Yeah.
Yes.
And you guys remember this because obviously you were there, right? This is, I think, your photo, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So it says RC and everything that's in it, and WB is Warren Buffett. 2017 is the year, page 11, and the next slide will show you that document, which would be here. So that's where it is from page 11, 2017, and then if you go to the next one. Right here is where from that page. And this is, I don't know if you want to read it on your screen.
It says, when major declines occur, however, they offer extraordinary opportunities to those who are not handicapped by debt. That's the time to heed these lines from Kipling's If. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, yours is the earth and everything that's in it.
Yeah, so it's in that document that Backstage RC sent to you, and I think that's very interesting. And also Dan Scavino, who is Trump's assistant, who now I forgot what his position he's in now, but he's just as trusted, I believe, as Bill Pulte, Dan Scavino. And Dan Scavino posted that video, and that's going to be If. Yeah.
Yes.
By Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but are none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
And I don't know if you want to comment on this first, but I got something to tie this into to Carl Icahn.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. There's actually was posted from Hulkster. Okay, take a look at this, right? This is actually pretty famous. Carl Icahn has not only in this documentary did he mention it, right? There's also other interviews where he references the exact same If poem as well. Here's it from the, I think it's the Restless Billionaire.
I call it no-brainer. Very little risk, a lot of reward. After a while, it becomes somewhat instinctive that you see something that's not really apparent to everyone. But there's tough times when you're not going to enjoy it. You know, you're going to lose, and you got to be willing to say, hey, if I lose, so what? It's like that great Roger Kipling.
There it is right there.
So good. You can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. That's important.
Oops.
Click, and you know it's good.
Sorry.
It all sums up in that movie, The Hustler, where when he shoots the ball, he says,
you know, I got a hunch, fat man. I got a hunch it's me from here on in. One ball, corner pocket. I mean, that ever happened to you? And all of a sudden you feel like you can't miss?
When I hear the click, I know I won.
I mean, like, you know, you have so many, you know, people referencing it. I mean, nonstop. So at some point, I don't believe it's, you know, it's just a coincidence, right? The fact that you have the connection to Trump with If, you have the connection to Carl Icahn, you have the connection to Warren Buffett. Backstage RC comes back here, and, you know, I've never even heard of this poem before Backstage RC, right? So, and I'm sure maybe there's some people like me as well that have never seen it before either, but there's a lot of correlations here, a lot of people involved. And now you have just recently yesterday, the CEO of Coinbase, who's now referencing If, right? So it's incredible. Yeah, go ahead, Alpha.
Yeah, and I can move on to this last part here because Toss highlighted this, which is very interesting, and I'll play two videos. It's going to start making sense, and I think timing is everything with GameStop, with a number of things. I think, to be honest, I think what's going on in Iran and even the Clarity Act, I think are all being timed. Like I think there's intentional delays to line things up. That's just my opinion. But if we look here, so above that line from the Warren Buffett document says the light can at any time go from green to red without pausing yellow. And so if we go back here, this is really interesting. So using that same quote, the light can at any time go from green to red without pausing yellow. And these are the two reverse Uno posts that Roaring Kitty made. At the bottom here, you can't really see it, but it says March 19th, 2021. Over here, it's June 2nd, 2024. And these are the two colors, right? Red and green. And it's red to green. If we go, okay, I'll go to the, let me show you the comment first. So this was very interesting. Those two Uno posts, which is up here, are 1,171 days apart. What is 1171 days apart from 4/23/23? And I think this was when Bed Bath & Beyond went into bankruptcy protection, correct?
Yes, that was the day they filed bankruptcy.
So that this differential in days is the same difference between when Bed Bath & Beyond went into the bankruptcy protection to 7/7/26, which is the HBC dismissal case.
You literally can't make this shit up.
Crazy,
Honestly,
right?
can't believe it. You know,
I think they're giving us signs. And if we go back here, because timing is everything. Pulte said it, Q said it, Trump said it, right? We all kind of, and even Ryan Cohen, and I'll show you. If we go down here, and you guys know this too, and this is a direct quote. So Ryan Cohen's going to quote this line right here. So the light can at any time go from green to red without pausing yellow. If we watch this here.
But it needs to be the right time. And, the capital markets are funny. They can go, and this happens every 5 or 10 years. They can go from green to red and they don't flash yellow. And so, there may be an opportunity tomorrow. You never know. I mean, we could wake up tomorrow and the markets can be down 20%, and GameStop will be in a position to take advantage of those opportunities when they happen.
So it sounds like they're it's like RK's video, right? Like there's two of them talking, and it just seems like they're sending signals back and forth. It almost seems.
Yeah, and I think in a way, even to us and to each other, because we're getting hints. Obviously, BP's made a lot of hints with us, and even RC to some extent. But so what's coming out of here, right? We're talking about the capital markets are funny. This happens every 5 to 10 years, and just kind of think of how things are planned. They can go from green to red, and they don't flash yellow. This is what RC said. So we're talking about timing, right? Like maybe we could wait for a downed market. Because even Trump's talked about it. Why buy stocks when they're really expensive? Wait till they go really cheap, till they crash. And you can even just attribute that to, like, say, Buffett, Carl Icahn, going back to the mantras, kind of the messages they've been talking about is finding value in companies that are really cheap, and have potential. So if we go here again, so he's talking about timing, right? We just don't kind of saying that, anything can happen in the markets, right? And we're waiting for something to be more advantageous for GameStop. So if we go here.
You take a $0 salary, you have billions of dollars of cash on hand. How do you plan to allocate it over the next 2 to 3 years? I don't want to go too long term.
I don't want to lose money, and I want a situation where there's a good chance of making money and a really low chance of losing money. So it needs to be a pitch that
So I think they're waiting, and I've done this talked about on my stream, but October is going to be a very interesting month for multiple reasons. There's this, I saw a graph where they talked about the lows and the highs of Bitcoin, and they said the lows of this, I don't know really what to call it, but it's not all-time lows. It's going to be lows in this, and I think it was like 1,164 day period is going to hit October. And so there's that. There's what's called Red October from Q. October is the month before the midterm election, which is predominantly known as the October surprise. So a lot of information can come out. There's a theory that the AI bubble is going to be bursting at some point. So if all those line up, and I'm not saying it's going to be in October, I'm just saying, hey, this could be a possibility. I don't really know. But if they're waiting for, to make a move when everything's down, and we can even say this, like I think maybe some of you guys might even agree to it, but I think at some point we will have to have a black swan event and to crash everything. And then I think that's going to be masked as the transition event onto blockchain and a new economy, which then will be the first investors on the ground floor, I believe, from the DK Butterfly shell that gets integrated into like a partial government entity with the Sovereign Wealth Fund and FHFA. So that's
and also we know that the shares were also pulled in October. It was the exact same day. I think it was the 17th or the 18th the exact same day as well. And the photo that Ryan Cohen had posted with him and Carl Icahn.
Yeah, October 17th.
Yeah, it was October 17th, right? So,
yeah, and also, then I'll end on this. I'll end on this one because you brought up a really good point, and it ties to exactly that picture. And I think it's going to jazz you up a little bit here, guys.
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
So if we go here, do you have something to say, Travis?
Travis.
No, I was going to say I've gotten mine 2 times since you started talking. Keep going.
Well, we're going to jazz you up here. This will be the final one. I'll let you guys go with it because I feel like I'm taking too much time. But
No. You stay as long as you want. This has been like absolutely just fucking insane. I mean, the connections are there, right? And especially like I appreciate how you've kind of laid it out like very as simple as it can be. I mean, I can't believe it, especially the date that you compared the red card with the green card and going, what was it? 1,117 days exactly ending on the day that the HBC. I mean, you literally like, I didn't even,
I must
have missed this post. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I follow him. Yeah.
Probably. I thought, and I'm sorry, I want to give him credit because I thought that was great. Like all the stuff's kind of lining up.
Crazy.
Right.
And there's that 117 there, right? So
you
also see the 117, which links us back to, remember the White House posted Trump in the Master Chief. His number is 117.
Yeah, 117.
And obviously, I think it's Halo 3, where the first level or something is called Sierra 117, and on the artwork is a literal waterfall. So, I mean,
and think about this too. 117. If you take out the 0, now this is kind of a little much, but usually for Q stuff, you take out the 0 for a lot of these. 117.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's kind of a stretch. I didn't really care. I just thought it'd be interesting to bring that up. But you're right. Like 117. Even if where is it? If we go,
Smudge out in the chat. Shout out Smudge, Master Chief. Yeah,
Smudge. Yeah, love Smudge. So I'll end on this. So we're talking about 1017 Red October, right? Red October, all this stuff. So a lot of things could come out between now and October. I think both in the political front and the economic front. Again, we have the Clarity Act on the economic side. We have the midterms going into November. And, there's a lot that can potentially happen. So 1017 down here with Ryan Cohen and Carl Icahn. And I think he deleted this picture, correct?
No, I think that one
has it up.
No, that's still up.
Okay. I don't know why I thought he deleted
that
it.
One hasn't been deleted yet, right? But it has. No, yeah, it's still up.
Cool.
So then go ahead. Just I don't want you to leave yet because after you're done, I want to show you a couple things too.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have 1017. If we go here to a Q post, 1017, we are Q, and we know there's a lot of Q references from the White House, Department of War, Cohen, Bill Pulte, all these people, right? Trump, everyone's, even Matthew Gates, prosecutor out of Florida. They're all having these Q messages. In fact,
someone posted "Trust the Plan" today. Which government agency was that? I can't remember.
I think it was. I actually do have it. I could show you if you want. Let me go over to my profile here.
It's exactly what Roaring Kitty said. Trust the plan.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be here. So
there it is, right there.
Right here, and from the Department of War, which posts a lot of the Q stuff. So trust the plan.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back here, this is I guess I don't. I thought I posted it. Oh, it's down right here. So we have everything. How can we use what we know? How do you legally make public use of as evidence? What are you witnessing unfold? Trust the plan. And kind of think of Bill Pulte's position, right? He's in the acting DNI role. So a lot of, the financial and the political side really kind of work together. And I think there is a reason why Bill Pulte's in the two positions that he's in. If we go back here, so again, 1017, the date here with Ryan Cohen and Carl Icahn, 1017, we are Q, panic in DC, the best is yet to come. And this is what not only the White House said, the Department of War, Trump has said, obviously Q here. This comes up quite a bit. The best is yet to come. And if you just remember the interview that Bill Pulte had with PBD in that podcast saying 2026 is going to be a phenomenal, or I'm misquoting him, but what BP said, it's going to be a great year, right? So everything's kind of lined up to 2026. Even the U.S. debt clock even compared the price of silver in 2026 hitting all-time highs of over $1,000. So there's a lot of messaging to 2026, a lot of big things that are going to be coming out.
Right.
Now, if we go here, October 17th, this link right here says, enjoy the show. And again, let's use this as reference with Ryan Cohen and Carl Icahn. Think of the big financial transformation that we're kind of all suspecting on some level. So we click on that, and it's going to be this video here.
Someone in the chat saying RC did delete the photo of him and Icahn. When?
I thought I saw it deleted. Let me pause it.
No, yeah, you
I
can
might be
play it.
wrong. I swore.
Yeah, you guys can look at it if you want.
Yeah, we'll take a look in the background here. Go ahead, Alpha.
Okay. So this will kind of jack your tits, I guess. So again, think about it. This video was posted by Q on October 17th. And I kind of refer to that Ryan Cohen and Carl Icahn planning something that these hedge funds will never forget, right? Something that we've never done before from the economic front. It's going to be biblical.
Shit, man.
Right? So I think they all connect. I think the financial side, I think what could happen, and this is just my theory, is that I think a lot of stuff is going to be coming out that's really probably not easy for people to see. This is my opinion. And again, I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to sway a lot of people, at least from the political side. I think the solution, and I think what we're going to be going on to, and I don't know how, I think it'd happen pretty quick. I think what's happening politically and economically are kind of tied together to some extent. And I think what we're going to see politically, it's going to wake a lot of people up, and then we're going to transition onto this new economy. Again, you don't want, like, imagine, and I don't want to get into Epstein, but just imagine seeing some horrific stuff, right? Stuff that you normally don't want to see, stuff that's pretty evil. You can imagine if, people already want arrests at this point, even from the financial side. People just want some people to be responsible, held accountable for the crimes that they committed in our financial system, in the political system. And I think if you show them a lot of this bad stuff, people are just going to lose their mind, and they're going to feel very hopeless. I think one solution to that is you flip the economy over, and basically start, everyone's wealth just starts dramatically increasing. And those of us that are lucky investing in Bed Bath & Beyond, but DK Butterfly, I think we are the initial investors of the new American economy. I think that's how big it is. That's just my opinion.
And I think it's key too. And I agree, I don't know how I missed it after all these years, Bill Pulte's comment where, oh, that ship has sailed. Even if the equity came out, it has to start at such an astronomical number that it's like trying to go out there and buy like a share of Berkshire Hathaway. It's like, you need I don't even know, what is Berkshire Hathaway stock price at? It's like
800.
800K, right? Nobody has that kind of money. Could you even begin to fathom, right, that you bought this stock that goes into Chapter 11 that ends up being, part of the sovereign wealth fund that's probably worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, potentially millions of dollars per share. I mean, this could be a lot fucking bigger than $500 a share, man. Maybe I'm underestimating, man. This is probably some of us could actually potentially make over $1 billion off of this trade. If that's true. I just can't even fathom it.
I said I was going to end there, but I think I want to, you guys seen this, but it's going to connect to that. It's going to be biblical.
Yes.
And I'll play this and just to jazz you guys up, and I'll stop.
I love this
swear.
video. Yeah.
And he says at the end of it, and I don't know if this is the cut, but he says, God promises his people millions, if not billions of dollars. And I don't know if it's in this clip. It's usually at the end, but he's specifically talking about BBB when he says that.
I heard something the other day as well. BBB. And I said to him, can you make it a little bit clearer? People must invest. That's one of the things they should invest in. Well, I feel like he's holding it back because you have to search it out yourself. Imagine if I told you, well, you need to invest in such and such a thing, market, and it didn't work out for you. You could turn around and take me to court or whatever. I think that could be one of the reasons. The other reason is probably that God would like you to search it out for yourself and find out. BBB. I heard something the other day as well.
He says it at the end, but he talks about the competitor to Apple, which we assume like Tesla, the Tesla phone and all that. And then he ends it with God promises his people millions, if not billions of dollars, talking about specifically Bed Bath & Beyond or BBB. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have a quote from Wise Guy. This is what Roaring Kitty said. I mean, if you wanted a real short squeeze, imagine you get a stock price for bankruptcy and it turns into a compounder.
So true.
I mean, I'm literally lost for words, man, how fucking potentially large this could be, right? And we've been kind of thinking and going back and forth that this is going to be like a merger and acquisition, like a company and things like that, but I cannot even, I'm sure a lot of you out there, people tuning in tonight, can't even fathom what the price would be like priced in as a sovereign wealth fund like this. I mean, this is so astronomically large, and this could in fact be the reason why we saw so many individuals, right, interact with our show, especially someone like Bill Pulte. I mean, he's head of FHFA. He's director. He's director of national intelligence now. I mean, it's hard to even process like what the fuck is actually happening here, right? So I gotta say, I mean, it's incredible, and I wanted to show you a couple things too. I didn't know if you wanted to add anything else on this Alpha State, but I wanted to kind of back.
No,
okay.
I'm done. Yeah,
So,
I just wanted to end with that, just showing it. I think it's great, man. So yeah, I'll hang out and see what you guys have to say, but that's pretty much my speech, I guess.
okay, yeah, go ahead, Travis. I'm getting.
I was just gonna say, great stuff, Alpha. Like, truly amazing. I mean, I just pulled up my calculator app, and that would only make me a billionaire. Unfortunately, only.
Dude,
imagine we
it's
make
good enough.
billions. Holy shit!
And imagine the starting equity too. I kind of use like the what's the sand timer, where you flip it and the drains and all that stuff. Kind of think about like we're the ground floor investors of this new economy, and it's only going to go up, right? This is what Roaring Kitties talked about. This is what Mr. Pools talked about. So this is what I think Bill Pulte's even talked about. It's just going to go up. Mm-hmm. So I think we're onto something pretty big, guys. I think we're investing in something way bigger than we think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, that's what I think too. Danker with the 5, appreciate the love, Danker. Don't forget Elon, and he's quoted as saying the most entertaining outcome is the most likely. Right. It's very interesting too. Yeah. I wanted to show you a couple of things because Lancer wanted me to also show you one of his posts, but Pang made a really good point here back to like the, FHFA stuff, Freddie Mac, stuff like that. We see in the Teddy book here, we see a trip to the moon. We see the rocket, which could in fact be the connection of Trump saying, the stock is like a rocket to the moon. And we have a house pictured here as well. Right. And this is quoted in the Teddy book. So we can pull a house and a car out of our piggy bank, said Kingston, and a trip to the moon too, said Princeton, right? So you have that connection there as well. And then this is another thing back to the sovereign wealth fund stuff that you were actually discussing. It was a post from For the Win, where you can see here the 2024 DKB fly bonds point to gold and silver financial instrument, right? And you also have, like we had discussed earlier today, the 2044s linking to Freddie Mac. It says message is clear, 100% plus 100% whole plus interest. I mean, this is just absolutely fucking insane that you even have a connection here that points to this gold and silver instrument, which backs up this sovereign wealth fund stuff that you're kind of discussing here. So, launching a new economy, things like that. I mean, I'm just absolutely mind blown by some of this stuff. And then there's a post from Lancer that I wanted to show you.
This is great.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before we go to Lancer, there was this from Ruoke. Okay, he's been writing a lot of DD lately as well. This also has to do with the bonds. He says that this update for the DK bonds strategically triggers an automatic stay, freezing the scheduled payment and grace period to halt cash burn. This precise technical maneuver paves the way for a Chapter 11 debt for equity swap, wiping the balance sheet clean for a massive reverse merger, which we have been discussing as well for many, many years here at the show. So this is it. I mean, I've said it many times before that I'm convinced that it's going to be this year. Oh, you're going to like this one as well, because I just need to speed through these here because we need to start wrapping up the show. But this was I'm sure you probably saw this, Alpha. I'll play this clip right here. It says, Justin, President Trump teases his very big announcement that's set to be made to the nation on Thursday night. It's really big news. It's really, really big news. And our country has to shape up. But that's what we're going to do, talk about on Thursday. Let's go ahead and play the video real quick, because I believe it links up to Ryan Cohen and his quote.
Really big news. It's really, really big news. And our country has to shape up. But that's what we're going to be talking about Thursday is it doesn't get bigger, because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country. We'll be discussing other things too.
Okay, so the big
really big news.
Huge.
It's really, really big.
And you have this from the Chomp, okay, where Ryan Cohen stated as saying it's going to be really big, very, very big, right? So this to me confirms, right? And again, like, keep in mind, Miami to West Palm, that's like an hour drive. Okay. So the fact is that there's a strong likelihood that Cohen is potentially has some kind of relationship with the president here. I mean, no one's ever discussed that before. No one's ever even directly asked him that question. You know, do you have any kind of relationship with President Trump? No one's asked him that. And that's why I think he's good. He's avoiding the show here because PP's got some good ass questions cooked up, man, for RC. RC doesn't want to show up, you know.
I can see why.
He knows that PP's going to lay the hammer, man, on these questions. He's not going to be able to answer them. You know, a long time ago, Bill Pulte even said, you know, PP, you know, because I'd even grill Bill Pulte live at the show too with certain questions, really, really just adamant, just straightforward questions. And he's like, you know, you're good at what you do. So RC knows, man, he don't want to get the PP heat, man, because I'm going to ask the real fucking questions here. You know, all these other guys that, you know, he's interviewing with, you know, they're spitballing, you know, they're asking great questions, but they're not asking, you know, the direct stuff.
Yeah.
So,
or you get blocked.
Softball. Yeah.
Or you get blocked. If
Right.
An answer. Right.
And then there was a Lancer post. Where is the Lancer post at? Because I had it here. Here it is right here. And we'll start to close up here. The 7-pointed star. Okay. You probably saw that Ryan Cohen was following this random account. Okay. This is from Captain Jack. Ryan Cohen followed an account called Behringer's last night for a few hours, which made no sense until you see the profile pic. In software, it represents a wild card, is what it says, right? And you can see here, here's his, that's like an asterisk, right? And here is it's a wild card character, is what it says. And Lancer actually connected it to the 7-point star in Game of Thrones, right? Which is right before they blow up Citadel, which is the temple.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, I gotta say, man, you know, this is rather interesting stuff, man. I mean, you know, if this kind of turns out to be, you know, sovereign wealth fund and things like that, I mean, we're really severely underestimating how large this equity could even open up at. And, you know, the reality is that some people out there could, in fact, make billions of dollars potentially if that's true. So, I think that's it. What we have tonight, we had an RK signal here. We'll give everyone some closing thoughts. Donaldo Trumpo said we're going to need the cat back before the midterms, right? And you have
my story of, you know, why I bought in initially and why I held through cancellation. I've this year I've probably spent 100 hours, probably more, listening to the Jake 2B. You know, there's like 10 hours of dissertation.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah,
it's so good. And like, I didn't get into this because I was like really technically like, I know what's going on. I know what's going to happen. I just simply thought to myself, like, Ryan Cohen didn't sell when the news told me that he sold. Like, fuck you. I'm buying more, and we'll be proven right eventually. And I'm super grateful to the people that have put in the work and dug through the dockets and, you know, made logical deductions and surfaced things up, because I just simply don't have the time or interest. Like, I don't think many of us do. I think you've got to be a pretty special type of person to want to go into 5,000 plus court dockets and read the legalese and make inferences and find the patterns. So I honestly don't know where we would be without the contributions from the people that have put in that work. I'm super grateful for it.
We'd be lost. Yeah, 100%.
Totally, I mean, the outcome would be the same for us, but like, it would just feel, I mean, it would just be different. And I'm grateful that we have not just that work, but here at the PP Show, anyone can come up and share their thoughts and opinions and talk about the stocks that we like and the decisions that we've made. Happy to, you know, I want to share that story at some point, but I bought in, many of us did. The news lied to us, and they're going to be proven wrong. We'll be proven right. We didn't even talk about it all, PP, tonight, really. Anything about the prospectus, you know?
Yeah, sorry. This Woodstock. Thanks for the cancer on the way out. Right on, man. Yeah.
Such cancer. Yeah, fuck that Wally Buck guy.
No, I think you were referencing maybe the song that we played, but go ahead, Wally.
Yeah. Well, no, we didn't even talk tonight about the maybe quick roundtable here if you want. That prospectus, there's been so much going on. We didn't even get to that tonight. Like, how crazy is it that you click that you know, Jake is on a space with Sal the other day.
Yes.
Elaborating on, you know, he recently was very excited and came to the realization that Ryan Cohen is the affiliate, and the affiliate is defined as someone who owns a minimum of 20% of equity stake in the company, and he's there as a debtor, right? So he built on that to show evidence that he actually had 50% or more, and that's pretty fucking incredible. And
yeah, that's insane.
In that presentation, Jake mentioned in one sentence there, so he was like, "This is a pretty special day. It marks basically the day that he held that space marked the 3-year anniversary of the asset sale transaction." And honestly, I don't fully understand that stuff, but just another 3-year milestone, 3-year anniversary on a relevant date. And the day I think it was the day after, but yeah, it was the day after. Saturday, the presentation was last Friday. The day after that, we see the bonds renamed on IBKR.
That's crazy coincidence.
It's crazy. And so Jake's all excited, hey, this is a big day, your asset sale transaction. Then on IBKR, we're seeing the bonds renamed 3 years. What? Such random timing. And then people start looking at the bonds and remember what Pulte said.
Yep.
Watch the bonds.
Yes, he did.
Watch the bonds.
Marcus Simona said, don't buy.
And what's there been to see on the bonds these past few years? There's been absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. What has it good for? Absolutely nothing.
That's a good song.
There's been nothing going on until Saturday.
Right.
Start looking into it, clicking around, clicking on prospectuses. What are the fucking odds? Let's say it's an error. Let's say it's an error that it's
somebody in IT put in the work.
Well,
yeah, they saw it.
What'd you say, Travis?
I said somebody in IT put in the work. Like somebody had to go in and change it.
Yeah, well, exactly. But let's just say that person in IT, I work in IT, people make mistakes. Let's say they made a mistake and the prospectus is linking, prospectus is linking to the wrong. It's and maybe they fix it and it goes to the right company. What are the fucking Bill Pulte's number one responsibility as the director of the FHFA is to prepare Fannie and Freddie for IPO. That is his number one responsibility. That's where they're trying to prepare. There's a good argument for it being his chief responsibility. What the fuck are the odds of the man, Bill Pulte, part of this community not that long ago, bought bonds himself, tells everybody, watch the bonds, and as soon as something changes with the bonds,
they're linked to Fannie Mae.
Links to Freddie Mac, which is an organization he is responsible for bringing public. What the actual fuck? So...
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Fuck. So anyway, love the PP show. Good to see you, PP. Travis, want to talk about more about this later. And gosh, who knows what's coming next? But things are coming at us fast. I'm really excited about what's coming between now, July 20th, September 30th. Which is the anniversary date of what the DK, but it's DK Butterfly 0930 2023, right? So. What does the 3-year anniversary of the DK Butterfly naming convention hold in store for us? Who knows? But greatest show on earth, PP. Thanks for hosting it, and thanks for bringing us all together. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate the love, my man. We'll give the people what they want. They said they want to slap Wally Buck out. Wally, enjoy the rest of the night, man. We'll see you next time.
Give it to me, PP.
All right, let's hear it. Travis, good stuff from everybody, man. I like Wally, man. I like everybody who comes to the show and contributes, man. They take time out of their day, and I got to say, man, everybody is hitting it hard tonight, man. And again, Wally Buck's right. What the fuck is going on here? Why would these bonds be linking to fucking Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all this fucking shit, right? So I got to say, man, and especially with what Alpha showed us tonight, you literally can't make this shit up. From the date of bankruptcy to the date of formation, to the date of HBC getting, completely just finished with, the fucking, the dates literally line up, right? The date, you literally cannot make this shit up, man. Travis, what do you have to say for the thousands of people tuning in tonight?
A lot of good stuff tonight. Goats, Alpha, Wally at the end there, pulling in the J2B stuff and talking about the 3-year anniversary of stuff, and when Jake hosted that show, and I know Jake's on the fence about 382L5 or 382L6. I'm leaning to 6, but again, it's inconclusive. A lot of great stuff that he put out on a lot of his spaces and his recorded calls. And if anybody hasn't seen him, he's got the YouTube channel. Check him out. It's just plugging an earbud at work and listen to him. I do it all the time, just trying to like find anomalies or recollect on different things here and there. But yeah, Jake's been putting out a lot of good stuff. What Alpha State was putting out and all the connections. Like, I see Alpha State's posts, but him coming on to describe how they're all connected was superb. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, and I'm actually glad that he did, because I see his post and I'm like, okay, I kind of see how this ties in. But for him to explain it in the way he did tonight was absolutely phenomenal. I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to this entire call. Unfortunately, I have kids, dogs, so I had to step away here and there a little bit throughout the night. But definitely going to be.
We appreciate having you here, man.
It's always great to be here. But yeah, and then Goats. I mean, that write up and this whole GameStop collectors exchange. I'm on the link put on these capstone projects. So I had to do a capstone project, graduating with my bachelor's and then again with my master's. And capstone projects are designed for you to develop a SWOT. This is strength, weakness, opportunity, all this other stuff, kids. And this really could be it. And I don't say that loosely. Like, they tried the NFT marketplace. NFTs they didn't have the utility that they thought they would. And I always thought that the great thing were in-game. I've referenced, like FIFA Ultimate Team 10 years ago. If every little player card had utility of some sort and you could sell it on another marketplace or on a marketplace and actually get real money for it, that's a billion-dollar industry. And I'm doing something Stop Collectors Exchange that Ghost was showing. It has so much potential, and maybe that is the nail on the head. I can't wait to dive into this further, maybe exchange some notes, get some more information from him on what he knows or what he's found. This is the first time I've heard of it, but I'm loving the prospects here. As far as everything else goes, man, it's great to see you. Good to be back. Always great to be on the PP Show. I will say that it was great to shotgun a beer in GME HQ.
I bet that was awesome.
I'm not one for necessarily that, but it was fun, and I get to check it off with a bucket list of things that I've done in my life. So,
right. And it's legal in Texas.
It is legal in Texas, contrary to popular belief. You can drink in public in Texas. You just can't be publicly intoxicated.
Just keep it cool.
But it was a one. Yeah, but it was a good time, getting to review the DRS shareholder list as well with the crew that went to do so. Hope to do it again next year. Have some good notes that we can pass around. I did check a few names in the community who's DRS, who's not, and mostly everybody is. So it's piece it all together. But as far as what's going on with the Bed Bath & Beyond stuff, man, I feel like it's been 3 years building up to all of this, and then for the warrants and the bonds to change names at the 3-year anniversary was, to me, an accident. I think we're on the cusp of something huge, something big. Hopefully as big as everybody described here, because then, hey, I'd be a billionaire, at least by my calculations, which is really cool.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, that's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, exactly. Right. All right, right on, man. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you here. We'll slap you off as well. And Travis, enjoy the rest of the night, my man. Chat, let's get some love.
Good seeing you. Take care.
Take care, man. Right on, man. There you have it. The PP Show. We got the fellas who showed up here tonight to lend their opinion. Some great DD from all the people out here tonight, from Alpha, from Goat Beards, everybody else out in the community out there. I think it was T Theory or N Theory Good stuff from everyone, man. I got to say, things are exciting. Yes, we've waited years for this to happen, but you think about it, people work their whole lifetimes. They never become a fucking millionaire, right? They retire with some money, things like that. And, that's that. But, the reality is that if we suddenly become millionaires, billionaires on the course of 3 years, 3 years is nothing, man. It's such a short amount of time. So, with that being said, I appreciate everybody who has tuned in here tonight. Appreciate everybody who has donated to the show and showed their support. Appreciate you guys, man. And again, we have such a great community here of people, different types of people from all sorts of walks of life. And again, I'm proud to be, here and doing the show and, offering everybody some good DD, man. So with that being said, we'll get together again. I don't know if we'll do another show this week. Maybe, but we'll for sure be back next week. If not, it's actually my birthday next week. So with that being said, enjoy the rest of the night. Love you all, man. Enjoy the dildo slap on the way out. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man. And we'll see you guys again next time. Love you all. Peace.